Kravets. If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this special live edition for Stephen Foster Day here on the HHH Racing Podcast. I'm going to be your host, at least for the first part of the show, Kyle Roscoe. Welcome, and everyone. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in on the special Stephen Foster Day. Of course, we greatly appreciate it. If you guys are enjoying the podcast tonight, we do podcasts every single week throughout the entire year, live Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, handicapping sequences for the upcoming weekend. So if you guys enjoy, please go down below the video player, hit the like button, and hit the subscribe button, because that'll let us know that you guys want more live shows in the future. As you guys heard, we had a very special announcement on Thursday with live racing coming to the HHH Racing Podcast, as well as new people joining the family. Lots of up and up coming for the HHH Racing Podcast. So again, if you guys like these live shows, please go down below the video player and hit the like button. We would greatly appreciate it. This will be the first one we've done in a long while, especially with live on-track reporting from the boss man himself, Howard Kravets, with Paddock and Winner's Circle access, as well as interviews to boot. Welcome in, everyone. I see a bunch of people in the live chat. Lots of new faces and lots of familiar faces as always. But guys, as you guys know, Tuesdays for Pacific Horse Players, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Betting and Boozing, I host that with a couple other guys. 8 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. Picks and Ponies on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern time. You can listen to us on audio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor for that. Of course, we have tip sheets. I will talk about those in a little bit. But first, guys, I want to bring in my co-host, and there will be a bunch more people coming in throughout the entirety of the stream. But the newest member of the HHH Racing Podcast family, a lot of you guys will know him from just the YouTube. He's been around for a long time now doing these live shows, but wanted to bring him on, say a very warm welcome to the newest member of the HHH Racing Podcast family, Chris Walsh. Chris, love to have you as part of the family now. And of course, your inaugural episode, looks to be a very, very good one for sure.
Howard, I'm just going to start with this. We got the Goldhorn back. I'm very pleased to be with the HHH Racing Podcast. I've known Howard for some time. Took a brief time off, but here I am back. I'm happy to be with you going through this Churchill card, and as we go through the summer with live racing, with some other potential shows, maybe something on Friday night we may do due to Lake Del Mar. More details on that later, but outstanding Churchill card here coming up. We got 17 minutes to post. Howard is on site. We've tested with him. We will be with him in the paddock as they get there. Should be a fantastic time. We've got the Twin Spires tournament. We'll have Matt Miller on here whenever he decides to show up. Matt has made no plays as of yet. You've got, I think, over 100 people now, 100 entries in the 99. So they need one more before they may be locked, but 100 triggered the 1st through 10th. So it should be interesting to see. Philip Fairbanks is the leader now at $5,084. We'll be going through the card, and I see a lot of familiar faces in the chat as I look over here to YouTube. Sylvain, good to see you. Katie has been here all day. Terry Frank, Felipe, right at the wire. John Gillicapper, good to see you here. Terry Frank, Wiz is with us. Wiz was a longtime guy when I was doing Friday night stuff. Ed Burke, Tanner Hawkins, Paul Conlon, Chris Couples is here. Kevin M. Yes, Jay Walker, Chris, thank you, the best. I appreciate that, Jay. But we are happy to be here, and we will be here all summer with you through the Breeders' Cup, and there'll be some good announcements on that. But Kyle, good to see you. We had a good conversation last night, and we're ready to roll here.
Ready to roll. And wait, hold on. Oh, I'm getting a read from the inside of Churchill Downs. Bring him in. He's in the sea of people, and he's ready to send out some horses from the paddock here. The boss man himself, Howard Kravets. Howard, my friend, how's Churchill looking?
What's up, everyone? How we doing? Howard Kravets live from the paddock here. HHH Racing Podcast. Kyle and Chris, how we doing? You can see that I'm in the paddock. We got a lot of people here. Very excited to see the Grizzly Bear. Torpedo Anna is 1-9 on the board.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and turn the screen around so everyone can see Torpedo Anna. There we go. There she is in the paddock, right there, being saddled. The whole field is actually pretty much right there as we can see. But Torpedo Anna there, number 3. You see Kenny tightening the girth there. It's very exciting. Royal Spa right now is 8-1. I should mention, as everyone knows, you've been watching the simulcast. You guys can hear me okay, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
You guys can hear me good? Okay. It's a little bit hard for me to hear you guys. But obviously we got some rain. It looks like we might get some rain a little bit later in the day. As of right now, it's not raining. It's windy and it's cooled off quite a bit. The track is it listed muddy, guys? I'm not actually sure what it's listed as. It dries out very quickly. There's Torpedo Anna. There she is, the Grizzly Bear. She looks outstanding, guys. Ears are pricked, ready to go. It's going to be very interesting to see how she handles the track, but she's obviously lone speed, and I love the, obviously, the electronics they have there above each stall there with the new paddock. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to go to Torpedo here. She comes around on the other side, guys, but obviously very small field, but very excited to be here.
Howard, they have
absolutely.
Say again, Chris?
They have the track listed as fast.
Really? Okay, so it's interesting. As I was walking down here, there's definitely some moisture on it. So it looks like they probably harrowed it right away. So that's very interesting. I think it's going to stay fast, for a while until it rains again. Obviously, we didn't get that much rain, guys, but we got enough, for it to obviously affect the track. There's going to be some moisture in it, guys. So that leads me to believe speed might hold a little better in this race. Hard to say.
Definitely is hard to say, but look, I mean, the track's been playing pretty fair all day so far today. Howard, obviously, like you said, it got a little bit of rain. Track's still listed as fast as Torpedo comes back around. I mean, she looks just as good as ever. It's just a matter of people are always saying, 1-9 is a little ridiculous, but people are saying it almost feels like you have to bet against her in this race, given her recent form. However, I think could be getting a little too cute, but there's some really good contenders between Royal Spa and Jinjin that might say otherwise.
Yeah, I think Royal Spa is definitely a factor here, guys. 8-1. I think she's going to go down a little bit in odds. I think she's going to drop to about 6-1 as we're looking at taxed here. We ran a big race last time. I don't see it happen here, but, that race was very slow. It was a strangely ridden race, but hello, taxed. She's looking very nice. I love the grays. Bet the gray on a rainy day, right, Chris? I don't know about that adage. I don't know who made that up.
Somebody did, but,
Someone that wanted to profit on the brown horses, I think, is what that was.
Probably. There's a guy named Flavian there in the green silks they're talking. Again, here's taxed. Jinjin is still, you can see there in the saddling stall there. The cool thing about this new paddock, and I'm just going to go and do a quick whip around here for everyone to see the paddock and get a vibe for what people are looking at here. But as you know, especially Kyle, and there's Torpedo again. I'll tell you what, she looks ready to run, guys. There's no doubt she looks ready to run. The back of the stalls are empty. In other words, there's not a wall in the back, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Torpedo, literally, guys, 5 feet from me here.
Nice. Those stalls, Howard, they back up to a restaurant back there where the horses can't see in, but the people can see out.
Right. There's Kenny with his back turned, and there goes Brian. This is very exciting, guys. Live here on the HHH Racing Podcast. Fleur de Lis, Torpedo Anna. There we go. And I'll tell you what I'll do, guys, because it's the first time I'm on here this afternoon. Once the horses go out onto the track, if you like this idea, Kyle, you're the director right now. I can walk
Yep.
through the tunnel basically following the horses because the public cannot do that, obviously. Let me go and put myself on screen. Should we give people a view of what the horses are looking at as they walk out on the track? And then I'll toss it back to you guys. How's that sound?
Works for me. Sounds good to me.
All right. So
And
sorry,
like I
I'm
said,
close to the camera here, guys. But I didn't see anything glaring in the paddock. They're doing one more turnaround here. What do we got? Sorry, it says 10 minutes to post. So right
Yep.
now they're just walking around the saddling area. I mean, is this just a lead pipe cinch here, guys? What's your thought?
I mean, I feel like, Chris, off the recent forms with Torpedo, I don't feel like you can say it's a lead pipe cinch at all. However, it'll be interesting to see really how the pace scenario plays out. Even a 5-horse field. I mean, is Torpedo Anna just loose in here? I know Jinjin's had some speed before, so is Royal Spa. But I think you and I could both agree that they might both be a little bit better with a target in front of them. So is it just Torpedo straight front end, do you think? Or is someone going to try and pressure her? Because I think if they just let her go, it might just be over if she's anything like her old self.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn the sound up a little bit here. Sorry, everyone. We're working through some tech here right at the beginning of the show. The last horse, Tax, is going out. So I'm just going to follow the horses right now, guys, because I'm allowed to do that. So everyone will get it. I'm with the owners, of course, also. But this will be, we're not going to do this every time, but this is a pretty cool view for everyone watching at home here. Hopefully you can hear me. So this is, we're walking obviously through the tunnel. We're following the horses here. And this is the view they get of Churchill Downs walking through the tunnel here. I'll try to keep the camera a little bit higher on to the track. Kenny McPeak just talking to it looks like a bunch of his fans and his daughter, obviously his family. When you look to the left and right, there are no people that you know looking through. Like you've seen that a lot, like Dallas Cowboy-esque, right? Like that, where there's fans that are draping over the tunnel. They don't have that here. I actually like that. I think that can be a distraction. Again, it's a little bit loud now. Hope you guys can hear me. I'm talking pretty loud, but there's an echo. But here we are here walking through the tunnel, following the horses for the Fleur de Lis. And again, so obviously we're following here, just another about 30 seconds here. Again, I'll be able to go places that most people cannot. So they walk through here. There you see the big board. Sorry about that.
You're good.
And Kyle, actually, Kyle, we didn't have a chance to do this the last 2 years. On Derby Day, they didn't let us do this, but there we go. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the front side, Churchill Downs. Here we go. Just doing a quick whip around there. I don't want to go too fast for everyone, but here we go. And I'll put myself back on camera, and here's the track, obviously. Let me get a close-up of the track for you guys really quick, too. Let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll turn it back to you guys. You can make your own decision as to how fast it looks. So I'm going to get to a spot where I can show you guys really quickly here. So it's not going to be easy to see through the camera. Obviously, this is, they're not going to be running on this, but I got to say it looks fast, but it also looks like there's a little moisture in it too. So there we go. Here we'll see. There's Jin going right by, and here's Tax, who missed Torpedo Anna. So guys, let me go ahead and flip the camera here. I'm going to send it back to you guys. Hopefully people enjoyed that at home. Full coverage right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. We'll try to talk to some owners, trainers, and jockeys after the races. No promises, everyone, because these trainers and jockeys are involved in consecutive races. And as you know, Chris and Kyle, it's a little bit tricky to talk to people because they got to rush back to their mounts to the next race, etc. We'll do the best we can. Howard Kravets reporting live from Churchill Downs.
Thanks, Howard. Appreciate it. Check back with you after the show. Guys, Chris, like I said, guys, it's just you. That's called a little bit of habit for you. But Chris, like you said, it's a shorter field, obviously only 5. Torpedo's still at 1-9. And just by the doubles, obviously the favorite didn't win last race, but she's only 3x less in the will pays than Royal Spa and 4x less than Jinjin. So it doesn't seem like that big of a odds discrepancy based on the will pays, but obviously with the win pool showing 1-9, you definitely would want to look elsewhere. However, the double might be just the way to turn, as I saw your play in the chat.
Yeah, so I'm with a 3, 5, 6, 8 Dutch double here for me. I do like a longer shot in the next with a couple of obvious choices there, but I think we can get a little bit of a price and make some money on that. Mrs. Wiz in the chat, she does bet every gray. So Mike, good luck with that. Tell the wife good luck. Looks like we've got a lot of people that is on Torpedo Anna. We've got 138 you here watching. Sylvain says, great job, Howard. Howard's doing a good job there as well. Matt is having some computer issues. He said he wasn't due to be on in 45 minutes. I said, get your ass on here now. I mean, we got good stuff to cover here. Looking out at the track, 5 minutes to post. Everybody kind of looks good out there. The Derby City carryover begins this race. This is the penultimate day of the meet. If you're going to chase the jackpot, today would be the day because tomorrow is mandatory. And we've seen several of these hit, Kyle, over the years at Gulfstream on the penultimate day of the week. Penultimate day of the meet before a carryover, before a mandatory, and this is the day to chase it. And if you're going to chase it, it's $1,314,893 right now. The thing I generally with jackpots, Kyle, I like don't play them until it's mandatory. Churchill is the outlier because it's a 15% takeout on normal days. And if there's no if nobody hits a single ticket, only 10% goes to the win pool.
Correct.
To the carryover. So your effective takeout is 24%. When you look at tracks like Naira or Santa Anita now, with their dollar pick six, and even Little Los Al that has a pick six carryover there. The first ever Los Al early pick 5 carryover was today as well. I don't know if it's gone off or not, but it's 110 grand and a 15% takeout on that. But with only a 25% takeout, this is a wager you can play daily and not get killed. If you played at Gulfstream and there's multiple tickets, it's like 45%, right? Like Churchill a couple days ago, I think paid 100 grand for 6 of 6. Because they're only carrying over that 10% to the jackpot pool. So,
speaking of someone I know who loves jackpots, jackpot pick sixes, it's the man who writes A Better Way of Thinking, of course, good friend of the podcast, Matt Miller. Matt, thanks for hopping on a little early. Greatly appreciated.
I see the book. I heard the hockey. I saw the lamp, and I heard the light. I didn't hear the light. I heard the goal horn. So yeah, all good. And I'm not sure why I put myself up for this kind of punishment with 2 minutes to post, but I shoved here in this contest with both fists, 2 different ways. Let's wait a little closer to post time for me to say exactly what I did, but I will be sweating this one out for sure. We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, I made sure the speaker is ready and the button is ready to be pushed. So what you tell us, I'll light the lamp for you.
And it's funny, Beth heard me playing sample. I feel so stupid even saying this, but it's completely accurate. She heard me playing sample ship horns in the family room. And it turns out, these things play to a radius of like 2.5 miles. I'd have to put the thing on my roof or something. I'm dead serious looking into it. They make one called the Destroyer. They make one, super cool stuff. So we'll see.
Are you in an HOA?
Nope.
No. Oh, perfect.
No, I can be as big an idiot as I want until, it's not like I hit that stuff that often that I have to worry about it sounding like tornado sirens here. But I like to
I don't know, your 7-day win streak. Your 7-day win streak last week or whatever it was. I think that would beg to differ, but I do understand.
Yesterday was 2 more. It's funny. I set a preposterous goal for myself at the start of the year. Once I saw how Twin Spires was working, I thought, oh, it'd be cool to try and win 100 different contests throughout the course of the year. I'm close. I'm not quite there, but I mean, think about it. It's June 28th, and this has been pretty ridiculous.
Yep.
So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, today would be nice. And it's funny, I see Chris Couples in the chat. Chris, I'm talking specifically.
And
There we go.
Okay, great.
An eventful start for Torpedo Anna. She breaks up through the front. Royal Spot had a good start too. And
Yeah, she is going to set off.
3-1 or a 3-4.
For the first time. Royal Spot inside. Torpedo Anna right alongside second. They're 1-2 to the turn with Jin backing off them, settling into third. And then it's same time got inside fourth and Tax is at the back end.
I mean,
around the clubhouse turn they go.
I wouldn't want her any other place.
And Torpedo Anna is glued to her. A stalking second, and now she moves up alongside. So these two hit the back stretch run together. Let's see the opening quarter, 23-2 to the bases.
Matt, what are the plays?
What's up?
What are the plays?
$2,000, $1,750 doubles, 3-1, 3-4, $250 try, 3-5-1, 3-5-4. So 3-1 would be
clear. Jin racing third.
Exactas, correct?
Yes, sorry.
Round the far turn. Ryan Hernandez says go with Torpedo Anna. She moves up right alongside of Royal Spot and puts a nose in front. Torpedo Anna leading to the top of the stretch now. And Royal Spot's coming under a ride down inside. Torpedo Anna on cruise control off the turn. Torpedo Anna set down the drop gap. Shifts inward.
Stop the race. Stop it.
Come on, Flavian.
We need second.
Come on, Flavian.
Torpedo Anna clear by 3. Royal Spot's chasing her all the way to the wire. Torpedo Anna. He's got done. Not even close.
Boom!
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 All right.
I mean, granted,
so
Chris, it wasn't.
This makes me crazy. I got your audio. They haven't even finished the race on TV yet. Holy shit! So I can't tell what to listen to. I so want to celebrate, but I don't want to do it too early. That was like the lamest celebration I've had in a while.
Play it again. Come on.
All right, so good stuff. 1750 double. And look, to give a quick explanation as I slowly settle down, I had 2 entries in this tournament. The math matters. They were both won. And so anything I collect today is pure profit. With a very flat prize structure. The goal is not really to win. Look, winning would be terrific. And it may be based on what the leaderboard does that I have no choice but to play again. Mm-hmm. But I would be very, very happy for a middle of the leaderboard finish. And so with that in mind, and starting with $2,000, the goal I set for myself was to get to 5,000 on one entry. That would mean I'm walking home with $5K of cash profit, and I'm thrilled with that. It would mean I made a little money on the day, and I think that's going to get me squarely in the middle of that prize pool. So I know it sounds, when you put it like that, wow, you have 2,000 here, 2,000 here, and all you had to do was get one of them to 5,000. Well, yeah, 1,750 times 3 point something. And by the way, we all laugh at these little doubles and these little exactas and how, Matt plays favorites, whatever. It's hilarious. The point something matters a ton when you're multiplying it by 1,750. That could be 3.9. That could be 3.0. That's a huge difference. We'll see. But, it is a good lesson to show you can make money betting these huge favorites. And by the way, if I only had one entry, I would have nailed this. This was the top one. And so, I probably would have wussed out a little bit and maybe done it for 1,000 or 1,500 and then done a backup trifecta or something like that. But bottom line is, I'm now going to be sitting somewhere in the 5,000s. I will need to take a pause and enter my minimums. Everybody watching, you should take that as a lesson. You want to talk, Kyle? I'll just shut up.
Yep. No, you're good. I want to bring this on.
Oh, fantastic.
Howdy, guys. You guys can hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
There she is. I mean, look at this winner's circle, guys. A lot of very happy people. Torpedo Anna, there is a horde of photographers. There's just a whole bunch of people. I thought it was really an impressive effort by Torpedo Anna. Brian Hernandez did a fantastic job. I actually thought, to be very honest, the first 10, 15 seconds, I'm like, why is he rating her? But I mean, obviously they had a plan, and she rated kindly. She did it very well. I mean, it was a very, very solid effort. But I wasn't like a blow you away kind of effort, but it was very solid. She did what she was asked. 1:48.2 final time on a track that I think is playing pretty fast right now. What was your general thoughts, guys?
I mean, I'll tell you what, Howard.
Walking literally, by the way, like 10 feet away from me, guys. There she is. Whoops, sorry about that. There she is. I mean, she's barely breathing, guys. I mean, she's not turning her hair. She looks fantastic. There's a pretty good sized crowd here. They were cheering quite a bit when Torpedo Anna came to the winner's circle, guys. Very exciting as I go ahead and turn the camera around.
And we got that.
And your analysis, guys, and look for my signal. I'll try to talk to McPeak. We're not going to be able to talk to Brian Hernandez, guys, because he's riding the next race. But I'm going to try to talk to Kenny, or at least have the camera on him when other media are asking questions, because McPeak does not have a horse that he trains in the Teppan. Go ahead and take it away, guys. We'll talk to you very soon, hopefully, with Kenny McPeak.
Appreciate it, Howard. Thank you.
McPeak does not have a mount in the next race because that would be unbettable. That's just way too many pounds. But Matt, did you crush the try there?
Exactly.
No, I did backup tries. So, and it's funny, you can go on twinspires.com. This is really easy to find. You click on tournaments, you click on register, even though you're not registering, and you can click on this one. Registration has closed. It's at 99. And by the way, giving away a little industry secret from Darren, there's no question in my mind they will average that up to make that 100. They're very, very good about customer service there. And you can look up the plays. My main play was that 3-1 exacta, but with 2 entries, I thought I can also get away with a 3-4. Okay, I got a little bit scared of the 5 and figured, as I did my math to make sure I'd get to my target number, which I did, I hit 57.75. So I've got a little bit of room to play with, which is nice because I'm going to probably lose a little bit of money on minimums. I'm not gunning for it from here. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I meant it when I said winning versus second versus third. And it's funny. Hey, Steve, I see in the chat, I am now winning, but we've got a way to go. So objective achieved. I would be a little surprised as I look at this leaderboard if I really do, and I've come up with this, I'm not going to even say I came up with it. Dr. Ronald Tang came up with it, and I stole it from him, this term of showlax, meaning you make a nice hit in a tournament, and then you take care of your tournament minimums by betting show bets and relaxing. So that's exactly what I need to do. Is I think this tournament has 5 races you have to bet, but they don't make you bet them crazy or aggressively or whatever. And I see what's up. Yeah, Howard?
Going back.
Awesome.
Yep.
I don't know if you can hear the interview. I'll just let the interview run with Kenny McPeak.
It's a little hard to hear, but
yeah, can't hear.
Can you guys hear him or no?
Little hard to hear.
Okay.
No.
Well, I'll tell you. Let me translate. How's that? We'll try to get him on.
It's not in English?
He said that the Distaff and Classic are obviously, in the consideration, both of them. I don't want to talk too loud, guys. I'm not actually that far away from them here. Let me back up a little bit. Yeah, they're just congratulating him. I'm going to try to go over and talk to him, guys. I'll tell you what, why don't you take me off camera? I'm going to walk over and see if I can talk to him. Just look for me to
sounds good.
give me a thumbs up sign, guys, because I can't
Gotcha.
stand and hold the camera at the same time.
No worries.
Well, I hit that try
but
at 6-1. Not too bad. Kyle, you want to bring up the leaderboard real quick?
Yep, absolutely.
And look who's on top.
Bingo, bango.
Yeah.
But I'm and Brian Shenvert's a player. He's fantastic. Michael Domabil is a friend. Marshall Graham is brilliant, and I have nothing but the best of best things to say for him. Kevin Lux has become a friend over time, and that's just the top 10. We'll have to see how the whole thing sorts out. But for real, do not cry for me as I make $300 worth. I think that's the number. I got to look at these rules and take 2 seconds to do that. But don't cry for me as I place $300 of show bets. By the way, I'm such a wuss that I bet them across a few different horses. Just if I could get back 280 or 290 on my 300, that's all I'm trying to do. I just don't want to blow 300 4 times for no reason. That 1,200 could totally matter. And so
Howard, I think, has Brian Hernandez coming up here right now. So let's get him right now. Howard, over to you, my friend.
Hi, guys. You can hear me, right?
yes.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to try to talk to Brian here in just a second. Brian Hernandez.
Worst microphone ever.
What was the earliest point during the race where you knew, like, okay, she's back today, we're going to get this done?
About the second jump out the gate. When she left there, when she got in the gate and she stood and looked down the racetrack, I'm like, okay, we're going to be in good shape. Sometimes she has a tendency to get a little nervous in there and get herself left. We've seen that in the past. But today when she got in there, she looked down the racetrack, I was like, okay, we're going to be in good shape. And that first jump when she left cleanly and was there, I was like, all right, we're fine.
Nice to be back motor.
Yeah, of course. You're always proud of her, and it's always great to be back with her.
Go get another one.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, Brian, can you talk about the pre-race strategy really quick? Were you planning with the pre-race strategy? Were you planning on going to lead, or you were going to read the break and see?
With a filly like her, it's all on her. She's so naturally talented. My job is just to stay out of her way, and that's kind of the plan. When you go out there to ride a filly like her, you just entrust in her that she's going to take care of you, and that's what she's done for the last year and a half now.
So, congratulations. Thank you. All right, guys. I hope you can hear that. I'm turning around. He's very happy. Obviously, I don't think they had a specific plan. They were just going to break and read it. I don't know if you guys heard what he said, but to the other reporter, but he basically said once she, got into stride on the first 15, 20 seconds, he felt ultra confident. I'm going to try to find McPeak. I'm walking back to the paddock. Go ahead and take me off screen, guys. Could you guys hear Brian okay there?
Yes.
Yes, perfect.
That was a good question.
Pretty cool, right? We're HHH Racing Podcast, baby. Let's go. I'll see if I can talk to Brian. Or sorry, to Kenny McPeak, guys. But there you go. Brian Rian is winning jockey right after the Fleur de Lis on Torpedo Anna. Take it away, guys. Thanks,
Howard. Appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, Matt, obviously people that read your book know about everything that you like to do here. And, the thing I always say to people that joke about me, because obviously my betting strategy has completely changed since you and I have been talking for the past couple of years. People try so hard to find a 3-1 winner. And when they get a 3-1, 7-2 winner, they go ballistic and they're like, holy crap, easy pick, done. When, realistically, that exact is staring you in the face at 3.5 to 1. And because the horse is 1 to 4, 1 to 5, whatever, they don't want to play it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, why aren't you saying I hit a 3-1 winner? I did.
Right.
It was just, It just was with 2 horses, one of which was obvious as all hell. Or, by the way, and look, I'm not stupid. I understand that as female horses get older and they come back from a break, they are more prone than male horses to just kind of throw in the towel at some point and say, I'm not quite the horse I used to be, and I might kind of be done with the racing gig. And that's happened to a lot of older mares over time. Torpedo is hardly an older mare, but it's possible, based on that massive clunker last time, that she was basically signaling she's done. I personally didn't think that for 1 second. And if you didn't believe that for 1 second, this was the softest field. I disagree with Howard completely. She could have won by as much as they wanted. I mean, that was a tour de force. That was a workout. So I did love Howard's question. It was exactly the right one. What were your instructions? And basically, he said, we knew we had it the whole time, so just don't mess it up. Is basically what it didn't matter if they had the lead or not.
And that was my thinking with this race, is because the one thing I wanted to say was the last thing. Then we got to start talking about this next race here coming up at Churchill, which is the Tepin Stakes, 3-year-old fillies now coming up in about 18 minutes or so. But that was the last thing. It completely felt like they wanted to see what she had. Let her sit. Brian Hernandez said it, which is, again, fantastic coverage by Howard, that they just wanted to sit. They wanted to see what they had. And when they, like Howard said, when she walked away, she was barely breathing. This sets her up perfectly for everything down the line, Saratoga, all that. She's still a force to be reckoned with within that older mare division. And obviously, it's just one of the the kingpins of the sport, if you will. It's glad to see her back in good form. Obviously, have a pretty strong opinion in this next race, so I had a double with Torpedo Anna into the next. Just one horse, all straight up, trying to go for the decent home run. Got 5-1 on my double, so I will take it, trying to beat what is now the odds-on favorite. Chris, obviously, I know you and I were talking. What's up?
Time out. You're not stuck with that. You're not stuck with that.
No, that's something.
You've got a nice stake planted in the ground with a mid-priced horse. You're not stuck. And so if now you're kind of regretting it, or you'd like to somehow cover that, you can bet a backup exacta. You can bet a new double going forward. That's leverage, so you don't have to bet a ton of money. But if you're looking at the board saying, oh, geez, I didn't think this favorite would be this dominating. The money's talking, and I think I was kind of wrong maybe. I have full respect for someone that kind of shifts gears at that point. And so no shame in taking one position in the double and then kind of softening it based on what you're seeing now.
No, absolutely.
Mine
and that's
5-6-8 into that double.
Say that again, Chris. Sorry.
I'm 5-6-8 here into this next race at Churchill Dutch.
So the 8 was the one you're talking about. That's obviously the horse coming over from the West Coast for Phil D'Amato. I really like the 6 in this race. I really like Vixen in here. Irad Ortiz, Cassie. Of course, with the beautiful maroon 6 that Cassie always trains for. Cassie, close enough. There's a lot of speed coming in here, Chris, between the 5 Lush Lips, the horses to the inside. Love You Anyway likes to be forward, although better with the target. Princess Attitude, the 4 likes to be forwardly placed. The number 7, Ninth Island, is a straight go type of horse. So pretty decent amount of speed in here. And if I can get Vixen just sitting off, stalking that type of speed duel, I would love to get the daily double home, which at least is at 5-1. And I haven't looked at the will pays yet, but coming up in 14 minutes, how do you feel about this race, Chris?
I'm with you there. Like I said, I like the 5, 6, and 8. Those are my picks. I've got that Dutch a couple different ways. I'm somewhat worried about the 7 getting away. I mean, 35-1 currently. The breeding is there. It's 1-for-1 at the distance on the lead and whatnot. I just hope they don't walk the dog here. Brian Hernandez again. I could pick up a double there, but the 5, 6, and 8 are the ones for me, and I've got those bet appropriately to get the odds that I want. But Kyle, I will also tell you as we come up here, Woodbine is getting into their graded stakes area. They got 4 races left.
Right. Yep.
We got a grade 3 coming up, which will be about 6 or 7 minutes after Churchill. So something else that we can kind of walk through and cover as we get through this Churchill race. But Matt, back to what you were saying with Torpedo Anna and fillies and whatnot. Yeah, that applies to human fillies as well and mares. Everything you said there. So
yeah, and I just had a hard time believing she was done. And that's not wishful thinking. It's just I'm not so quick to just say, okay, let's jump on the bandwagon trying to beat her. It felt much more likely to me she was herself than would turn into a different horse. And so,
well, she was back in her native land and whatnot. I mean, it was a questionable field. You get these races, right, where she could easily run, second to last or last and whatnot. But once you saw him get out of the gate, you saw the half of the race. It was like, yeah. And I had mistaken what your try was, so I just did it cold, and it worked out.
That try was a little sneaky. So we'll talk about that for a second, if that's okay. Just it's a good little betting tip. So. Please. Again, the context being with 2 entries, I had the luxury of betting 2 exactas. If I was just betting cash, that would have been a straight exacta with the 1. But I also, and so let's just take that example. You can either take your entire tournament balance and just bet the exact, even if this, assuming it's your big opinion of the day and you just want to smash it, you can take your whole balance and put it on the exacta. Or you could look at the probables and say, well, based on the target I'm shooting for, I have a little bit of extra money. And in my opinion, I had about $250 or $500 of extra money. And so I used that to essentially buy an extra combination where I took my horse for second, put it in third, and took a different horse for second in the trifecta that was spooking me, but not enough to make it one of my top 2 exacta plays. So essentially, it was a sneaky way to get a third horse in there for second. But I was really still hoping for one of my 2 main ones. And so, okay. And look, the lower paying of the 2 hit. I don't think you could detect from my reaction any disappointment in that. I hit my
absolutely.
And that really was the whole goal. I've got my bets keyed in for the rest of the day, and okay, we'll see.
I know, and it's what mitigating risk for extra horses, Matt. That's what it's all about to get to that same amount. Howard live in the paddock for race number 8 here coming up. Horses are walking to the track. Howard, what's going on out there, my friend?
What's up, everyone? We got a little rain here. Don't tell Pete and Paul. I just looked at the radar, by the way. I don't think there's going to be heavy thunderstorms the rest of the day. It's going to be just kind of sprinkling. There's bobblehead right there, Kyle. We love James Graham. Chris, you too. Anyway, it's drizzling right now. I don't think there's going to be any severe weather the rest of the day, but there might be some just annoying rain. There's Love You Anyway. 8-1 seems awfully big price to me. Princess Attitude. Lush Lips. I don't know if you guys talked about it because I've been moving around to get set up here. She's coming off a vet scratch. Now, look, people get upset with, Heisa scratching people with a pimple and whatnot, but there's Lush Lips. I don't like it. Even my to me is completely insane. Now, if the number is 7, 9th Island with Brian Hernandez who just win, if she doesn't go, I guess Lush Lips will just wire the field. But I mean, what is 9th Island doing in the race at number 7 if she's not going? I'm just going to go and do the same thing and follow the horses here. I got to check both ways, make sure I don't get kicked or anything. I mean, what is 9th Island doing in the race if she's not going to go? But we've seen crazier things happening here. I'm very interested in the 2 guys. And I apologize. I'm sorry, I forgot the name now. Co-host failed.
Something stronger.
What I like about her is she's a fresh face in this division, number 1. Let me go ahead and put myself back on the screen here, if people can tolerate it. She's a fresh face in this division. When she went 2 turns, Chris, in her second start, I think it was her second start, lifetime start. I mean, doesn't that tell you that maybe the connection sync is a 2-turn horse? So I'm not really concerned about the distance. And the way she won last time was visually impressive. I know it was only 5 furlongs, guys, but I think the price is interesting here. Without nitrogen, this whole division is just sort of mad, isn't it? So I'm very interested in number 2. We'll try to talk to, again, some trainers and jockeys if possible after the race. Good luck, everyone, in this race is the Tuppen, correct?
Yep, correct.
Tuppen, pretty darn good horse, by the way. Tuppen. Good luck to everyone out there.
Thanks, Howard. Appreciate it. Yeah, pretty good horse in his own right. Something Stronger is actually a horse that's interesting. Howard mentioned, obviously, he's very interested. I mean, this is a horse with Frankel breeding on the mare side by Justify. You'd imagine that distance could be all the thing that this horse wants. Just a matter of maybe she just wanted turf and not dirt the first couple times out. First time out as well, they tried her actually to get her on the turf. Unfortunately, that came off the turf and ran on sloppy dirt that day. However, she's ran second to Gowell's Delight also in the past on the dirt, who was a pretty well-touted horse for a long time. Unfortunately, didn't turn out to the horse I think everyone thought. However, gets the turf first time off the layoff and runs very well. Obviously, the public is also seeing the same thing as Howard, has bet down from 10-1 morning line now to 9-2. And my dad just walked up and passed me a note and says, Matt Miller is killing me, is what I think he just slid me a note. So obviously my dad is watching.
Oh,
I bet it will.
It's going to get slightly better. I didn't mention it before coming on. Well, maybe I did. I can't even remember. The Naira Bets contest, I just looked over and see that I hit my double, and I now just slid into second place over there. And now I need to make a decision. Like, do I just settle for second? Do I press there? So I'm multitasking. Someone should tell my wife that I am capable of doing more than one thing at a time. She's convinced it's just one thing. And thank you, Drew.
No one knows popcorn like that guy. It was a joke going around that earlier in the week in our group chat about him being able to DoorDash AMC popcorn and how it might actually be over that on good Saturdays. Chris, you are muted, but obviously 5, 6, and 8 is the play here for you. I want to talk to you about the 8 real quick and find what you liked about the 8, because that's definitely one getting lost on the board right now. 14-1 on the live feed. DRF projects based on the will pays to go down to 12-1 come post time. However, obviously things could definitely change, but wanted to get your take on the 8 here, because obviously that's the one that's lost in translation between everyone.
Yeah, stretching out here. The favorite last time flew out back at Santa Anita on April and then May at only 6 furlongs, and now going 8 furlongs here. Phil D'Amato, he brings Frazier out here to ride this horse. That's a winning combination for them. I do like the fact that I feel like the breeding is somewhat good here, and I think they're just taking a chance with this one. It's 0 for 1 at this distance, and the horse is, somewhat lightly raced, only 4 races back. And when you go and look at that 8 furlong race that they had before, headstrong, steady, and alone was kind of the comments I had on that one. Finished 4th and definitely taking a step up here, but you're getting the right price. And I have this one in my double. It's obviously the least amount of weighted in terms of the Dutch bet, but I do give this horse somewhat of a chance here, but I really think Vixen is the horse to beat here. Irad Ortiz, 2-1 here. And, I know Lush Lips is the favorite, but when I look at like who it's raced before, again, it kind of is a notch above those. And I do like the breeding on this one. And I feel like that is a little bit up there as well. 5 times this distance, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and 0 thirds. So, I kind of feel like Irad is up here, but probably my backup here is like a 6-8 exacta. I'll probably play that, a couple of times. I think the 5 could be there. From there, the outliers are, the 2, which is taking a ton of money right here for Elstall and James Graham, if you can stand that, did close pretty good from behind at 5 furlongs, but now it's going 8 furlongs. The breeding, I think, goes down a bit there because it's stretching out, but you never know what can happen there, right?
No, not at all. And again, like I mentioned it before, that obviously Frankel on the dam side ultimately obviously helps the distance by Justify as well. We know how many good turf routers he's already produced in his pretty short stallion career. So, and like I said, he's getting bet down like it as well, as there's 3 minutes to go as they're just walking around on the dirt before they cross to the turf. Matt, I know you mentioned that you were going to play some minimums here. Don't want to give obviously away your direct plays. Not that it's your biggest plays. It doesn't matter too much, I know, to you. But anything going for you here in any contest that people can root for?
Yeah, I think I got to go back and look. I think at this point, I have to bet 200 a race. I think I did 100 to show on the 5 and the 6. If I was trying to make money without taking too much risk, I would have put 200 to win on the 6. I mean, if I was betting cash, the 6 would be getting the dominant majority of my play. It's interesting. I do think these odds are going to come even a little closer together. When you look at the will pays, those two horses were extremely close together. And okay, I mean, again, you look at the morning line, it's the same thing. So I think these are going to. I do see value here. If you like the 6, I think that 5 is helping you quite a bit.
Yeah, no, and like you said, I agree with you completely. I was hoping for 2 to 1 at 9 to 5 would be decent on Vixen. Obviously, I have her at 5 to 1, so I'll gladly take anything that I can, trying to pair her with Torpedo Anna last race. Again, Matt, 1 to 4, 9 to 5, you're getting 5 to 1. I'll gladly take that over a 9 to 5 win bet in this race. So no matter what, this is the thing that a lot of people, whether Vixen wins here or not, I think she is. If I could just be wrong, but I'm very happy, at least with the way that the betting has shaped out, to where it's a good bet that I placed. And if I lose, then I'm just wrong and you move on to the next one. But again, just very happy with the bet that I can place rather than waiting for a win bet.
Well, and let's show everyone how to do extremely fast, simple math on something like this. So we're going to do it backwards because it's a little easier in this case. But let's assume Vixen goes off at, what do you want to assume, 2 to 1? Let's be generous.
Yep.
So if you put $1 on a 2 to 1 shot, you get back $3. Torpedo Anna was 1 to 4. So at 1 to 4, you'd be getting back $3.20, $4.20. And so that's assuming 2 to 1. So that's your gauge as to whether or not you're getting an overlay. Is if Vixen is 2 to 1 and your double pays more than $4.20, you did great. If Vixen is less than 2 to 1 and you're still in the 4s, you obviously did terrific. So, and look, it's possible you can have an overplayed combination where some CAW comes in at the last second, or some huge better in a big contest smashes something. But no, I think the price you got is great. And if you can just do that over and over and over again by getting the best of it, okay, you might not win every coin flip, but if your odds, you somehow flip the odds of a coin flip to being 60-40, you're going to do really well over time.
Yep, it sure seems like that, Matt. Unless I have a 3 to 5 in the last race of a contest, then it gets a little hairy from there. But guys, they are loading into.
Between you and Howard, you find more ways to lose the last race of a contest. It's the most unfair distribution. I mean, there's like a bell curve, and then there's you. Like, it's just unbelievable.
It's awesome.
Are they loading up?
But we are White Sox fans. We find ways to lose. Yep, and they are off in the Tepin Stakes. Unfortunately, Chris had to step away for a second, so we will not have audio. But good break for everyone. Actually, Vixen broke a little bit slower than I thought. She's going to sit in the back. Lush Lips is actually not going to go to the lead. But between the 2, 3, and 7, there looks to be a pretty decent amount of pace on at this mile. Turf looks like a little kickbacky, but still nothing that looks too wet out there. There's the 2 takes the lead here in this race, which actually is something stronger, the horse that Howard talked about. However, 9th Island, the horse that Howard mentioned is only one way to go in this race, is ratcheting up the pace. However, they only went the first quarter in 24, so not that fast. However, they are head-to-head, and the pace should pick up as 9th Island just takes the lead by a length over Something Stronger. You have Love You Anyway just behind them. Princess Attitude down on the inside in 4th. Lush Lips and Vixen both follow right behind them, and Chris is number 8 in this race. Number 8, Favor to You, is the horse in the back, looking to pick up pieces. Pace heats up a little bit, 47 and 4 as they're looking for a way through here between Lush Lips. Vixen coming out to the outside now, going to try and follow the 5. They turn to the top of the stretch. Something Stronger is backing out. Lush Lips all the way on the outside, closing really good ground here. And it looks like he's going to get the jump on everyone. Vixen's not really moving. The 8's not moving either. And Flavian Pratt does. And it's going to come 5, probably 5-4-6, it looks like, or 5-4-6-7, 5-4-6 in that race. Lush Lips wins this one very easily. Did not expect her to rate that far off the pace, but obviously Flavian Pratt knows what he's doing. Good hit to Brad, obviously out there, like the other favorite. 8-5, 9-5, 8-5 after that horse has been 1-1 the entire time is obviously a very good price to get on Lush Lips. It was between the two. Again, I didn't expect Lush Lips to go to the lead in that race. However, again, Flavian Pratt knows a lot more than all of us do. And I mean, God, I don't know how much she won by, probably by at least, seemed like a 16th of a mile at some point. So
especially
fantastic
in a
ride
like that. That's just a dominating. That's as dominating a win as you get. I mean, that they don't win by much more than that.
Nope. And obviously that was my hope for Vixen. I don't know if she would have won anyway, but that was exactly where I was hoping Vixen would sit first off that flight of leaders. Obviously didn't break the best, broke a little bit slow, and then got outrun to the first turn. So again, good bet. Obviously doesn't come home for us, but big opinions are later. So we didn't bet. So we save our big money for later, i.e. If you read A Better Way of Thinking, you would know what I'm talking about. But Lush Lips wins the Tepin. Congrats to all the connections there. Hopefully Howard has some good stuff for us coming into the paddock. Again, Flavian Pratt, another turf race. I think I joked on the show before I would trust him with anything. I trust him with my firstborn child. Anything on the grass, you would trust the man Flavian Pratt with. So congrats to everyone out there, and congrats to Brad and anyone else that cashed on Lush Lips. We wanted to talk about Woodbine as well. There's only 4 minutes to Woodbine, Chris, if you wanted to mention that. But
we've got Woodbine coming up here. The 1 is your favorite, right around 30%, I think, to win on that one. Something is your brother, whatever the name is there. 1 for 2 at the distance. Breeding is good on that horse. I'm going to go to No Time, and I kind of like Serendipity as well to kind of hit the board here.
What did you call the one?
Something, a brother. Something is your brother. I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, give me a crazy name there. I just don't have that kind of time.
Something about her. Yeah.
Something about her. Okay.
Your brother's out of the picture, Chris.
Yeah. I mean, go to the lead and try and wire these guys, these girls at 8.5 furlongs here for 150K. I'm going to go to No Time, and I'm going to try pair that up with Serendipity and potentially Tis Her Money.
Hey, like I said, I like it.
So,
there's a ton of good horses coming up later at Woodbine too that we will talk about between my boy Prince is out there, and then of course the Woodbine staple, one of the greatest names in racing right now, Patches O'Houlihan, runs today in race number 8. So that will be talked about here on the HHH Racing Podcast. But again, it's not too much to say. Hopefully Howard can get some good interviews there with either Pratt or Brendan Walsh on the number 5 Lush Lips, but just about as good as a win as you could hope for in a 3-year-old filly races. Someone needs to challenge Nitrogen in this division, and maybe Lush Lips can be the one to do so. The next race at Churchill is the Grade 3 Kelly's Landing Stakes, 6.5 on the dirt, and this is the return of Booth. Everyone who's won 4 in a row now at this point, about as good a form as you can get. This will be the third time out at Churchill, as I hear Woodbine's going up close to the gate here. Obviously, if Howard is out there and has an interview, we'll cut to him out of the Woodbine race. However, we do want to get you guys out to Woodbine. And again, as it was mentioned on the Thursday podcast, we will have Woodbine live racing soon along with Monmouth. It's an amazing thing for the HHH Racing podcast. So make sure, again, if you guys are enjoying the live shows and you want us to do more of these, hit the like button down below and hit the subscribe button so that we know that you guys can want these, and then you can continue to come back by being subscribed. But they are loading into the gate now for Woodbine Race 7.
Yep, and I did hit my double there at Churchill, so that was good. Not goal-worthy worth.
Yes, but, beautiful. Well done.
With Ella, it is.
When you structure these things like
money's money, Chris.
When you structure these things like Matt talks about in the book, Better Way of Thinking, you collect the same amount of money no matter which horse that wins. So that's the beautiful way of doing these things.
For start.
Funny fact, guys, this stream is just an entire advertisement for A Better Way of Thinking. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, it's really nice.
It is a very...
It's a perfect start.
And we're off.
It really is.
Serendipity, away shuffling no time, handy Madame Obey, not a trouble coming across well from the outside, and skimming the rail. Something about her just on the inside is mid-back, and then came Ellen, it is Crystal Air. The trail about 3 behind this, Tis Her Money. Showing the way up the stretch is Serendipity, no time. Fighting the rider slightly and going forward under
go away,
second spot. Relaxing well with the neck down is Madame Obey. Tucked away is something about her on the inside midfield. A length behind them came Ella, it is. Tis the Money. And last of all is Crystal Air. Showing the way without any pressure is Serendipity, but Rafael Hernandez.
All right. Chris, we're gonna have to pause this here. Howard is in the winner's circle with Brendan Walsh. He's talking to looking at the interviewer right now. So we will cut back to Woodbine here in a little bit. Do appreciate it, though, but I want to bring Howard on as he comes to the winner's circle. Howard, to you, my friend.
Hello, you guys here?
Yep.
Hi, we're here with Brendan Walsh. We're live here on YouTube on the HHH Racing podcast. Brendan, congratulations. It looks like Lush Lips has really learned to settle and finish. She's on the lead a few times. Can you just talk about her ability to finish her races?
I think she ended up on the lead a bunch of times earlier on in the year. That's kind of what we did with her. But we've been working her plenty in behind and teaching her to pick up and to run home. And you know, the last day there wasn't maybe as much pace on. There was more pace on today, which I think really helped. You know, at the quarter pole, it looked like there wasn't going to be any other.
Was it the plan to take back, or just she didn't break as well maybe as she could have?
Enough pace there, so you know, I'm glad we did what we did and just get her to come back. He said she was trying to go a little bit early on, but once she learned that she wasn't going to, then I think it was a big step for her today to do that and for her to advance in the future.
Good to get a win today after she missed, you know, what would have been a prep last time. Did you have any concerns about coming in off a bit of a break?
More concerned about her getting her checks this morning than anything. But no, she was primed the last day. We were super disappointed about what happened. I think she showed today, you know, that you know, she's as good as she's ever been. Hopefully she can get better, and you know, we can have a big year with her. I think we can. I think she's a very good fit.
She's been up against nitrogen.
All right, guys, there you go. I'll go ahead and switch back to my. So I don't. Again, there's music. There's music in behind the winner's circle, but I thought you guys could hear that. Look, I was trying to beat Lush Lips. I was obviously wrong. I do want to talk about the 2 for a second, who obviously didn't run well. However, the fact that when the 7 didn't break and sort of forced James Graham's hand to go, I didn't think the 2 would be on the lead, and frankly, I didn't want her to be on the lead. So obviously my top pick in that race didn't work out, clearly. However, that wasn't the trip that I envisioned for this filly. I think there's still something there, no pun intended. And now next time you're going to get a much bigger price. So I'm not sure the inside is also the place to be. Kyle and Chris, as you guys know, when it starts getting a little bit wet, now the turf is still firm, but I can tell that they're not clicking up, not big clods of turf, but I mean, it's, there's a little moisture on it. I don't think the inside is the place to be, but most importantly, that's not the trip that she wanted. So I'm not ready to give up on her, but obviously Lush Lips was tons the best today in the time.
Great. Thanks, Howard. Appreciate it, and hope to talk to you in the paddock soon. Thank you, my friend. But yeah,
I'm
look,
loving these sign-offs like he's a news reporter. I'm absolutely loving it.
It is really like ABC News type stuff. It's
reporting from the Paddock.
Reporting from the Paddock, Howard Kravets, ABC News.
Back to you, Matt. Okay.
I would say ABC 7 News. it's
Well,
of course it doesn't.
We
but
just
good
did
call on
get-
the 5, Chris, with serendipity.
Yeah, we just had a nice boom at $26 exacta at Woodbine, 5 over the 2.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll take that
And
all day
exactly
long.
given out right before the race as well. So absolutely.
A few people hit that in the chat, which is great. We're up to 116 people consecutively watching now. We love it. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, helps the channel out a lot. We appreciate that as we turn the page, Kyle, and we head back to Churchill Downs.
And with the turn back to Churchill Downs, we have a couple more people to bring on as we bring it back to Churchill Downs. Man that needs no introduction, and I'm not talking about the younger man that's down there in the chat. Writer for the Saratoga Special and an author of a new book coming out in early 2026, my friend, Mr. Paul Halloran. Paul, welcome to the show, my friend. And of course, host of Pacific Horse Players here on the HHH Racing Podcast every Tuesday at 9:30. Noah Maher. Noah, didn't mean to short you there, but obviously Paul's having a huge announcement here. And Paul, I want to give you a little bit of a stage here before we move on to the next race, because I know you talked about it on Thursday night. We have a huge audience here watching for Stephen Foster Day, and there's a story that's very close to all of our hearts that you have been at the epicenter of for the last, 2, 3 years, 4 years now at this point, and it's all culminating next year, early 2026.
Yes, yeah, we'll get to the races, but yeah, I was really happy to formalize a deal with a publisher for my Cody's Wish book. We'll be out in the first half of 26. We get lucky, maybe around Triple Crown season. And we'll look forward to being at Keeneland in the fall of 26 for the Breeders' Cup, which, of course, was a seminal moment in that story. So I appreciate all the support. People seem to be excited about it. I'm excited it's done, pretty much. Mr. Miller can relate to that. I finished my 58th and final caption today, Matt. So I am, there'll still be a little work to be done. But yeah, so all good, and just honored to be entrusted with the story by some wonderful people whom you guys all know.
No, absolutely, Paul. And like I said, I wanted to give you at least a little bit to talk about it, because it is, again, a story that's close to all of our hearts, not only us at the HHH Racing Podcast, but all of horse racing that was encapsulated by that story for 3 years. And again, I'm sure it's going to be an absolutely fantastic book. I haven't even read it yet, and I could not recommend it enough to everyone as soon as it comes out early next 2026. Noah, my friend, supporting, even though you did decide to walk away from the best show on this podcast, are still repping, betting, and boozing. But anyway, my friend, what's going on? Thanks for joining in the afternoon today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Hopefully it's been a good day for you guys so far. My day is just getting started as I'm taking the reins over for Kyle here pretty soon. Obviously he's got some obligations, but glad that he could be with us for the first hour, and glad I could join you guys for a couple hours just to see all your beautiful faces and all the beautiful people in the chat.
Oh, I mean, we've had a ton of those, that's for sure. I don't know about the thing in the first, but definitely the thing in the latter. And one other person, I guess, wants to join. It's just a party here. After we started, me and Chris only, everyone seems to start joining once the racing starts getting good, of course. But either way, bringing on my co-host on Betting and Boozing, Charlie Freeman. Charlie, what's going on, my friend?
Not much. Like you said, this is, I guess, the best time to get on. The racing's really starting to ramp on, and yeah, credit to you guys. I had it on in the background while I was handling some stuff around the house, but no, excited. We still have plenty of good racing to go today. It's a big day of racing for sure.
We all just lost our chance to get a word in edgewise. Shit.
Yeah.
That's why I'm leaving, because I will not be able to talk.
Kyle, just a quick comment from the chat. John Gilpatrick, Gilly Capper, the two best authors on the podcast, Matt and Paul, Congrats, Paul, with the new book. That shit's awesome. Paul, I'm excited to read that book. Maybe I can get a sneak preview one way or the other that will make my commutes a little bit more fun reading your book. But I'm really excited to see that. But we got
Thank
Brad
you, Chris.
in the chat as well. Brad's playing in a separate contest on Twin Spires, but really excited to see the book and then hopefully the movie.
Well, that will be forthcoming.
Yeah.
And we'll have to see. I mean,
That's
I just,
something
having dealt with Pete Fornatail as my editor, I kind of knew what was coming, but Paul's taken a manuscript and handed it over to an editor that, I don't know what that book's going to finally look like. Did they switch chapter 8 for chapter 2? Did they say, I don't like chapter 3? I think every bit of feedback, Paul, you've gotten from everybody that's touched it is this thing's a gem. But I mean, it's funny. At the moment, you don't really know what the book looks like until you get it back from that editor.
That's correct. I know what it looks like today.
Yes.
And hopefully, I think it's going to look fairly similar at the end.
Well, I'll tell you something. I don't know if I told you this, and we can get off this topic in a second. My kid did something super cool for me. She said to me at the end of my project, how many drafts did you have? And I said, I don't know. There were probably about 4 main ones. There's some service that will they will publish that one book. So there's one that says draft 1, draft 2, draft 3, draft 4. Obviously, it's not the final, and it doesn't have the cool cover or whatever. But I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool to have how it started and how it ended. So something to think about.
Well, I remember, Matt, when you told me that you had
absolutely. And the one thing
I remember, Matt, when you told me when you had got the first full copy of Paul's book and you went and read it cover to cover and what your reaction was. You didn't tell me anything about the book, what your reaction was. That was the thing that told me, man, I can't wait to read this thing.
Oh, I was able to hold it in for like 6 hours. And I'm talking about going to the bathroom. I couldn't get off the couch. I mean, I was stuck reading this thing with wife sitting there, watching TV, looking at me, wondering, why are you crying? Why are you laughing? Don't you already know this story? And you're going to feel all the feels reading this thing. It's good stuff.
Looking forward to it.
All right, where are we on these races?
14 minutes to Churchill Downs, race number 9.
That's what the next. Yep. Then that is, of course, the Kelly's Landing Stakes I mentioned before. Talk about an interesting betting board right now, guys. Booth and Dr. Venkman in the will pays are exactly the same, almost $6.38 to $6.57, and are both 9-5 as of right now. So a very interesting betting board. I don't know about you guys, Noah or Charlie, either one of you guys can chime in. I did not expect Booth and Dr. Venkman to be the exact same price. I expected a lot of people, especially on days like this, that people love to bet what they call the ones, horses that win a lot in a row. They love to get bet down. But obviously, if you're a Booth fan right now, I wouldn't exactly be sitting too confident, at least based on the money that's on the board.
What'd you think, Charlie? Can he get 6.5?
I don't know that he can, and I don't know what the way that this race is going to set up that it's going to be so easy for him either. We've already seen in races earlier today, I know all too well because I fell victim to it, what can happen if you have enough horses, making you work for that lead, especially if it's a distance that might not be perfect for you, as I had that pretty brutal loss in the double. But I just think there's going to be other pacing here, and I'm not fully sold on Booth. I need him to really prove it to me outside of Oakland. I understand last time out that he won at Pimlico, but he didn't really face much and was less than even money. He's going to be facing obviously much tougher here. I just feel like I've seen some love in the chat for Dr. Venkman, who I think could, sit a nice ground-saving trip. I know, Noah, you had talked with me a little bit, and the price you're getting right now is a bit surprising that you had some interest in Roll On Big Joe. There's obviously some other horses to the outside. I know Happy as a Choice is getting older and inconsistent, but when he has his best day, he makes sense. The horse to the outside last time beat World Record, who's a really nice horse. I just think there's a lot of questions on Booth, and for me, it's a complete play against.
Yeah, I tried not to make things too difficult. I just kind of thought, Booth's going to get the lead and Roland Big Joe is going to be right off of him. And if Booth can't get 6.5, then it seems like Roland Big Joe is just going to kind of go by whenever he wants. The question mark is Dr. Venkman. I honestly have no idea what to do with him, and I probably know him more well than you guys do, at least just being based on the West Coast. But I don't know. Maybe I can get a gauge from the group, because I feel like just with the nature of the speed of the 3 and the 4, Dr. Venkman might be a little further back than maybe he's used to being. And I don't think the rail plus the shortening up to 6.5 really helps him. What do you guys think?
I love him.
Do you?
I really like him a lot here. Yeah.
Well, the money's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the one thing that I obviously took into consideration as well. I also like Dr. Venkman in this spot. The only thing I'm doing is that I've developed the pick 4 play, $10 straight. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm not, I'm good. But either way, my biggest opinions are coming in the last 3 races here. So, and if I can beat Booth in the first leg, I know my payout's going to be pretty nice. So if I'm going to pair it with my 3 best opinions, go for it, $10, and we'll see what that can cash out maybe at the end. But yeah, I also really do like Dr. Venkman. This is also second off the layoff for that aforementioned 5-year-old. So if he can continue to improve maybe a little bit off that 97 last time out and sit a ground saving trip on the inside, be able to tip out of the top, I also really like Dr. Venkman in the spot. However, I could see plenty of different options happening here. Chris, is that kind of how you saw the race, or where are you looking to this 9th race at Churchill?
I'm going to go against you guys a little bit here. Red flag, 2 for 2 at the distance, right?
Yep.
18-1 currently. I wouldn't put all my world there, but gets Irad for Bob Hess Jr. And I think could make some noise here, hit the board, and you could do some combos with that horse. I wouldn't go straight to win on the horse, but I would put a small amount there. I don't have any action going into this race, but in a pick 4, I would potentially do something with that horse in there. I think you could go multiple ways there in the last 4 races here, but red flag certainly is on my radar. So
I love that.
Third last out, 2 1/4 lengths. At Hawthorne, and then at Churchill with finished 4th, 7.5 lengths behind, but got a win there in Oaklawn with not a good break as well. So it really depends on the pace here, the speed. If they go too fast, this horse could come in and upset the apple cart. But I think it's a must. If you're doing multi-race wagers, I wouldn't land on this one as a single or anything like that. But
yep, I agree. 24-1 though, projected, looks really good. Howard's giving me the thumbs up now. Going to go to him live at Churchill. Howard, what'd you seeing out there, my friend? As soon as you can pop on the screen.
What's up, guys? So people are probably wondering right now, what is this tunnel? What's going on here? So I wanted to show everyone the media center is behind me, but I just want to show everyone sort of behind the scenes. I'm going to walk everyone out to the track. So I guess Noah and Kyle and Charlie and Paul and Matt, everyone on the screen, maybe Chris too, to see. I'm just going to go ahead and flip it around the camera here. They did a little bit early. The weather is improving, maybe to the dismay of Paul. I don't know. But anyway, I'm not in jail. I am not in the Churchill jail. So everyone, we're just walking there. This is the walk from the media center out to the track, so everyone could see what's going on here. This is a nice inside part. This is for the some more luxury kind of box situation. We're gonna just walk out here live. As I'm doing that, guys, are we surprised the odds with Venkman and Booth right now?
Yeah, we've talked about that, and the fact that they're exactly at the same exact price in the will pays as well. So they look to stay very similar in price, which to me was very interesting. Obviously, very good, in my opinion, for Dr. Venkman fans that seeing that money pour in. However, Booth fans might be a little bit concerned based on that money coming in.
Yeah, I'm placing a big win bet here on Dr. Vankman. I mean, big for me. I wish the odds were a little better. These are some very nice luxury boxes. I think, guys, for Derby weekend, I'll just get a little close look so people can see the setup here. This is obviously literally right on the rail here. As you see the track, I believe these go for upwards of 10, 15 grand for the Friday and Saturday for one of these suites here. I think they call them Winner's Circle suites, but I'll just go ahead and unfortunately, Kyle and Charlie, no, I hope you're not getting a little PTSD right now because this is a spot for people that want to know. This
Turn
is,
it off.
unfortunately, I guess I should say, about right around here, I would say, guys. Right around here is where we saw the finish of the 2024 Kentucky Derby. But as you guys know, I mean, the whole experience was amazing, just not that particular race. But there you go, guys. I'll get a little... here, this is looking the other direction at the stands here. Just a quick little whip around. There's the Twin Spires. Well, there's one. There's the other. And there you go. Crowd's decent. This place is so big, guys. It's really hard to... Let me go ahead and switch back on screen. It's really hard to tell, the crowd size. Again, it's drizzling. There's no more severe weather. I hope the rain stops. I want to see as good a track as possible for the $1 million Stephen Foster, but I'd be shocked, guys, if it's sloppy at that point. If anything, it could be good. So we'll see. It should be a fun race. Who do you guys got here in this race?
Like a lot of us like Dr. Vankman, and there's a couple. Chris brought up the number 7 Red Flag that he's pretty interested in at a big price right now at 20 to 1. So.
Who's Chris? Oh, Chris Walsh. Welcome, by the way, Chris. I don't know if they give you an official welcome, but welcome, my friend.
He is. Unfortunately, he is just a chair right now, but I will let him know that let him know.
There we go. Okay, now I see there's a chair. Well, welcome Chris's chair. I love the sign behind his chair, though. That is stylish.
Oh, yeah.
The last thing I want to say, I don't know if you guys saw my text, but look, I know a lot of famous Charlies, but I think I met the most famous Charlie there is. Churchill Charlie, the mascot.
Yeah, there we go.
Interestingly enough, looks a little bit like...
Yeah.
No, forget it. I won't say. Anyway.
Like Arlie by any chance?
Well, I was going to say someone on the screen, but I don't want to be disrespectful. So.
I understand. Anyway,
he's
Howard.
Acting like he doesn't hear me now, apparently. He's acting like he's muted. Right? Oh, there we go. I got the smirk from the other Charlie. There we go. All right. Anyway, good luck to everyone.
Either way, Howard.
It's a great day here. We'll try to talk to the winner after the race best I can. Are people enjoying the coverage? Is this put in the chat? Is this worthwhile?
I know I am.
Well, we're gonna
have
have a couple more coming, so hopefully they enjoy it more.
Howard, we're good on viewers. We got a live chat going, engaging with everyone there. So good stuff.
Yeah, Chris, I was talking to the chair, but official welcome to you, Chris, for the HHH Racing Podcast. Good luck with your 7. You're getting a price, my friend. You got 20 to 1.
Yeah, well, I'm not all in on the 7, but I've got it multiple different ways, and that's all you can ask for at this point. So we're getting close to the gate. We'll get the audio up here, and then we'll get out to Woodbine right after this with our friend Patches O'Houlihan. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
By the way, I heard you guys are feeling serendipitous today. Yes?
Yeah.
Chris Walsh definitely is feeling serendipitous today. I can tell you that much.
Did that horse wire the field? Obviously, I can't watch the Woodbine races.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, that was my second choice. Good. How did that horse go off at almost 3 to 1, by the way? I mean, wow.
Yep. No idea.
Crazy.
All of
Matt,
us are thinking the same exact thing.
Can I ask Matt how the contest is going? Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, the exacta, right, Matt? What did that exacta pay?
You can, Kyle. You can plug up the leaderboard there. It is refreshed.
Now, what did the exacta pay? Oh my! Who is this freaking? Who is this freaking guy in the top of the leaderboard? Hey, nice shot.
How did you just turn Italian?
It was a combination kind of thing. What did that exacta pay, Matt, for $1?
I'm not exactly sure. I know it was just north of 3 and under 4.
Okay.
So it was enough to get me to the target, obviously.
All right, I'm gonna get back to the race here, guys. You can feel free to take me off screen. We'll talk after the race. Thanks, everyone.
Sounds good. Thanks, Howard. Appreciate it.
I love the fact that he said after the race he's going to talk to the winner. Watching Howard talk to a horse is going to be absolutely amazing.
Absolutely.
That's the content we all live for. But I do want to say real quick, Noah, I'll hand it off to you after this race. The Roscoe family likes to run as late as usual. So after this race, I will hand it off to you, and we'll go from there. Just wanted to give a little in-show production meeting, I guess, at that point.
Cool. And Noah, I've got you with the audio with Churchill and Woodbine, and my screen is shared down there at the leaderboard as well. You can put that anytime you want. So we are all ready to rock and roll.
Sweet. This is an easy job.
Yeah,
it really is. But real quick, before this race goes off, as now we're just under 2 minutes to post, a lot of love in the chat for this show. Sylvain says, love it. Gate, a lot of people we haven't seen before as well. Again, if you guys are enjoying the show, like button and subscribe. We're going to do these a lot more often now. A lot of people that are coming over for Chris as well. So that's always greatly appreciated. Wern says, loves it. Gatekeeper loves it. Sylvain, of course, loves it. Katie loves it. There's a couple. Well, unfortunately, Deanna, we cannot show the race because that is a copyright issue. However, we do show the audio when the race goes off, so you can watch it along with us. Wiz, who is a fan of Chris's work over on YouTube. It's a great show, gents. Love all the chatter on betting horses and angles. Look forward to more of these in the future. You'll definitely get more of them in the future. Debbie, a person I haven't seen before, is all in for Booth and Gatekeeper, my angle Booth until it's not. And that is exactly the way it's working.
Kyle, small comment, just inundate Howard with comments on doing the Friday night Del Mar show, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Yes. The late pick 5 there, and we got the turf pick 3, and we could do that. Here we go up at Churchill.
Good start, Roland Big Joe out of the Conqueror. Booth is there. Dr. Bateman backs out. Durante comes on from the far outside as well. Onto the main track they go. Booth in front, but there's company. Roland Big Joe is right alongside second. Durante chasing them third. Dr. Bateman comes through to the inside fourth. Up to the Conqueror in between fifth. 3 lanes back. Red Flag in sixth. Happy as a Choice in seventh. And Long Shot Free Technique, the trailer. Booth, the leader, with 4 furlongs to go. Negotiates an opening quarter in 22-1. They're on the far turn. Booth in front. Roland Big Joe right alongside, pressing and pushing this pace past the 3/8 pole. A length and a half back to Durante. Dr. Bateman set to strike inside fourth. Happy as a Choice and Red Flag as they hit the top of the stretch. Booth turns him in. Roland Big Joe comes up alongside. Roland Big Joe in front. Roland Big Joe, the leader. Booth has to battle back. Dr. Bateman is hemmed in, pinned in, tries to find a seam. Durante wandering about. They have to catch Roland Big Joe. Dr. Bateman shakes loose, late on inside. Durante outside, down to the wire. Roland Big Joe, got it.
Man, they really did everything they could to not let Dr. Bankman win that race. But good call, Noah, on the 4. Big Joe.
What a fucking.
How do you really?
I should have played the try.
I mean,
Paul, I share the same sentiment, dude.
Oh, he was a mile the best, for Christ's sake.
He was a mile the best.
Yeah, whenever Jose or whenever Leperoux wins, I don't win, but that was a good result for me with that 8 in third.
Yeah, I mean, dude, they just God, they
got the journalism treatment. They were all working against him.
Yeah,
that was insane.
No kidding, dude. My God. All right. Well, obviously, congrats to anyone that had a roll on Big Joe and Noah. Good call on the 4. You did exactly what you wanted. Sat right off the lead, and you had 9-2 on that horse as well. So exactly anything you could ask for.
Yep. Now it's all downhill from here.
All right, we got 5
hopefully not.
Well, it's down here because we're losing you,
5 minutes.
It's a good start to the pick 4.
Well, yeah.
5 minutes to Woodbine.
Very good start.
Hatches
Either way.
O'Houlihan, who can dodge a wrench better than a ball at 4-5.
Really?
With fear on
I think
board.
sounds
I
good
think
to
Howard
me.
might be
We'll
able
go
to talk
there.
to speak here.
Yep, I was gonna say we'll go there after this, but Howard is live looking at the track coming back for race number 9 at Churchill.
Wow, what a race. I have one question for everyone here as we see Dr. Vankman there getting unsaddled. This question's for Noah. Is there anything that Freysu, I know you have the 4, so congratulations, Noah. I needed Vankman. Is there anything that Freysu could have done? It looked like Jose Ortiz on the 8 was really keeping him locked in, and the 4 was also like in the 4 path. So if Vankman could have gone to the outside about, maybe let's say maybe a 16th of a mile into the stretch, I really feel like Vankman would have won. It just didn't work out for him.
Yeah, no, I think it's just unfortunate. It's good race riding, like you kind of mentioned, with Jose just keeping him inside with the 8, and I mean Jose's on fire on the win end, and he seems like he's doing everything else right, not even when he gets to the winner's circle. So I think Vankman was probably the best horse in the race. It's a little unfortunate he couldn't get there. Maybe if this race was 7, Paul and Kyle are cashed a ticket, but hey, I'll take my 92 on Rolling Big Joe.
Guys, I want to say, look, we're not always right on this show. We try to give the best analysis possible. Let me wait for some jockeys to go by here. Sorry, guys. Multitasking. I mean, Booth was the play against of the day. I mean, I'm sorry. We talked about in the show. I used him very defensively. I just didn't think that he wanted 6.5, and I thought it was a fantastic ride. I know people give Julian a little bit of a hard time, but I thought that was an absolute textbook ride. And Paul, we talked on the show, this is a talented horse capable of running a big race. This is not that big a surprise to me as I think other people are going to feel, Paul.
No, he was clearly the second best horse in the race. The one who's being set on the one who's getting his picture taken. He's a very good horse. I think Freysu should have got that horse out of jail a lot before. This trying to go between crap and the stretch doesn't work. I'm very bitter, as you can tell.
Well, I wasn't happy either.
Which is
I'm not
unlike
sure what you could
me.
have done, though, Paul. I don't sorry to interrupt you. It's hard for me to hear you. I'm really not. He was on the rail. I don't know if there was really anywhere for him to go unless you're suggesting before the turn he tries to get into the 3 path instead of saving ground on the turn. But then if he loses because he was wide on the turn unnecessarily, I don't know. I think that was just situational. But I'm a little upset as well. So I want to thank him.
I agree with Paul. I'm bitter about that as well. He should have got that horse out of jail. You're right.
If they run that race 10 times, he wins 7 of them.
Probably, yeah.
I'm going to talk. I'm going to try to. I'll tell you. Leave me on screen, guys. I'm going to try to talk to. Let me switch this around because there's really not much to see right now. The winner's circle, which is cool. I'm going to go ahead and try to talk to Julian and give everyone on the podcast best wishes because I know how much everyone loves you, Leopard, especially Charlie. Even Charlie's a huge Leopard fan, isn't he?
Yeah, something like that.
I haven't slandered him at all. No, I'm not going to throw someone under the bus, but the new host of the show, Brother Kyle's going to what he was dropping slander.
Hey, Charlie,
this
you want
morning
to
when I
ask him a
talked to him.
question live in front of the world that's appropriate?
Yeah.
Is there
That'll go well.
I'll leave it to Noah. I'll leave that to Noah. Let him take the
All
call.
right.
I was
He's
just
the
going
one
to
who had
say
to go win.
it's a good thing you
Let me
practice your
chase
Italian.
after
because you're
Julian,
gonna talk
guys,
to him.
here. Go ahead and leave me on. I'm going to chase after Julian if I can catch up to him. Go ahead, guys.
Sounds good.
Keep talking.
But yeah, I mean, I couldn't share it, but I think the play against Booth was obviously the right play for all of us on the screen. Paul, I'll throw this to you. Do you think it's just the extra half furlong that did him in? Obviously, going 6.5 instead of 6. The track was the one that he hadn't raced on before, if I'm remembering correctly. What do you think was just our biggest play against for? Oh no, he has raced on the track, but early in his career, what do you think was the biggest play against for Booth this day?
I just think he had everything his own way in all those races at Oaklawn, and then even the last race at Pimlico. I mean, I think he's a very good horse.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's approaching $1 million. But
Hey, Julian, congratulations. You guys hear me? We got Julian Left Fuel here live
Dad.
on YouTube. Congratulations on your win. It's the HHH Racing Podcast, Julian. a fantastic ride. Did you feel confident coming off the turn that you were going to go about?
Yeah, I mean, it's a horse to beat, so I wanted to make sure I was close enough to him. Yeah, like you said before, when I get with him and pull away, even the big race mouse, he's a fighter, and we had a perfect trip today.
Did you know that Durante was in your outside, Bankman was on your inside? Could you feel that pressure?
I could hear the people screaming at the end, so yeah, I knew they were coming at me, but I'm glad we're getting after the wire.
How long do you think this horse could be 7 furlongs? And how do you feel about his distance limitations?
I mean, he does it pretty nicely. I think the 6, 6.5, maybe 7 could be a good on Corso, but the 6, 6.5, it's natural speed, So I think the sprint is fantastic.
Well, fantastic ride. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, there you go. Julien Leparoux, very excellent ride. He timed it out really well. He definitely felt pressure, as he said. They were yelling, I think is what he said, sort of screaming, in the stretch there. So there wasn't contact, I don't think, between Fresu and Jose Ortiz on Durante. But if you guys could hear that, if I heard Julien correctly, he said there was definitely some yelling in behind. So he knew they were coming, boys, but not fast enough to get the winner. Roll on, Big Joe.
Roll on, Big Joe. Thanks a lot, Howard. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon. But either way, guys, I'm going to have to dip, unfortunately. But again, Noah, thanks again for taking over the show. Greatly appreciated. I'm assuming Woodbine just went off.
What just happened?
That was a good hit, Chris. What'd you got?
Just the winner and the exacta.
Just normal stuff.
Yeah.
Game's easy. Yeah.
Not 4 to 5 over 2 to 1, but you bet it right and you get a good winner. I mean, Patches really veered out there and gave me a scare, but I believe Patches got up. He really veered out there to the center of the track.
I just saw that. Oh my goodness!
He was giving some fans some autographs during the race and showed.
Oh, what the heck is that?
5-1, and did the 8 get third? If the 8 got third,
I have no idea. Let's see.
If the 8 got third, it's even better.
I was
too busy watching the 5 go out of the track.
I was a little stealth there, Chris.
The 8 got third. It's cold on the system that that I use.
Ice cold chills. Yeah. I mean, God, he went out 10, 15 lengths or 10, 15 paths there, and still.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he's just about as good as it gets out there at Woodbine, and it's always again. Torpedo Anna won. Patches O'Houlihan came back again to win. Look at the jockeys trying to just please tug him left the entire way down the stretch, but
you can dodge a wrench.
It looked like
you can dodge a wrench. You can dodge a ball.
And if you can dodge ghosts that are running at you coming down the stretch, then you can definitely dodge other horses running up to your inside. But either way, guys, again, 518. Yep.
5182. 5182, which by my win percentages are pretty darn good. So we'll cash that bet and be very happy about it. So
booms all around. Let's say that's like 4 races in. I think we've got at least 3, if not all 4 booms. So goes on as
yes,
that's what it's all. That's what it's all about, my friends. Either way, Noah, I'm going to turn it over to you guys. Thanks again for joining. Chris, obviously fantastic to talk to you. I'll get to talk to you a lot more, especially with those Friday night and Saturday day shows. Matt, again, thanks for the conversation. Obviously, fantastic betting advice as usual. And then Paul, Charlie, Noah, I'm sure you guys will have a great show. But again, going to have to dip out of here. I will talk to you guys all soon. Thanks to everyone in the chat. I got the Love Brilliant Birdie here. First mission in the Woody Stevens. Wow. Stephen Foster and Big Reagan's Wit into the last, my play of the entire day. So good luck to everyone out there.
All right.
All right. We'll bet
Thanks,
that
guys.
Foster Stevens for sure.
Yeah. The Foster Stevens.
Good. Have fun at the graduation, Kyle.
glad we could have Kyle join us for a good period of time. I guess we can go ahead and move on to race 10 and start talking about that. They got 20 minutes to post. It looks like Howard is maybe running to try to get into the paddock and maybe talk to someone for us. I'll go ahead and list the odds here. We've got 9-5 right now in the early wagering on the 8 Fort Washington down 6-1. I know these might be screwed up a little bit just because we had the scratches of Mercante and Event Detail. He's a favorite right now at 9-5. Just as inside the 7, who Kyle mentioned, he likes Brilliant Birdies at 5-2 right now. Another West Coast Invader for the Glatt Barn, Mi Hermano Ramones at 3-1. And then a bit of separation in the wagering. We got Laganos at 6-1. I know Charlie likes that. Taking Candy at 7-1. Seminole Chief 8-1, and then the long shot Henro 38-1. Boys, where do we want to start the discussion? Should we start with a favorite, Charlie? I know you're a little interested in this horse. Maybe not so much with the pace kind of taken out with Mercante.
Yeah, I still am, honestly, but not at this price. That was my bigger.
Charlie, I got to cut you off because we do have Howard with us. So I'll go back to you, but I'm going to bring Howard on because he's got something for us. Howard?
Sorry, guys. Yeah, no, I do. This is not breaking news. I just want to report this. And I appreciate you putting me on right away when we have our signal because things need to be said right away. I want to be very careful the way I say this, guys. I'm actually in the media center right now. As I was walking back to the media center, I saw Steve talk to, it was Eric, right? Eric was riding a booth. Is that right?
Yeah.
Let me just say this, and this is for anyone that any fathers out there that have children. Steve was not happy. So the reason why I'm breaking in here is I'm just curious why you think he might have been unhappy with the ride or what, because maybe they wanted him to sort of try to run them off their feet and go quicker early. He was only 22-1 on a fast track. So maybe you guys can discuss for, a brief minute on the ride, but I just want to hear a report that Steve was not happy with his son, which I have a ton of respect for Steve, but if I'm doing my job correctly, I do need to mention that I wasn't going to film it, guys. I want to give them their respect and privacy because it was in the tunnel. It was not in real public view, but I clearly saw it. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But Steve Asmussen obviously very disappointed with Booth today.
If only he could have had access to a jockey like Pratt on that horse. Oh, he had Pratt on his other horse.
Anyway, you can take me off screen. Sorry to interrupt, Charlie, but I thought it's worth mentioning because it was something to see. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. All right.
We can touch on that real quick before we go back in the race. I mean, my response would be maybe just some frustration built up because he thought his horse that got fraud checked for being a bum was a bum, and he just wants to take it out on his kid. But I mean, that's how I saw that race. None of us had Booth. I mean, I went 3 deep in my horizontals, and I didn't use Booth on my tickets. But yeah, moving into this race, no, I know you and I talked about this late last night about this race in particular because you knew my boy Liganos was in it. And look, yeah, I used him in horizontals. I love that I have Pratt. I love his running style. I know he's been just knocking on the door, but I absolutely think anything at 4-1 and above is value for him. So I will probably be playing him. But yeah, Fort Washington was my top pick in this race. I thought came back nice off the mini layoff. We saw a different side to him as well, which I really liked. He's normally one that sits way in the back and then has to fly from the clouds. But I really like the ride from Junior, and I'm happy he's still aboard because if you watch that replay, you'll see he kind of made the move a lot earlier than usual with this horse. As they were turning for home, he was already just off the lead by a head and then took the lead and just trusted that he had enough to hold on. I also like this mile and a 16 for this horse. I think that's kind of his best instance. I think a mile and an 8 is still fine, but it's stretching him a little much. I do think on paper he's the most talented horse and the one to beat, but I got to be honest, I would not want him at this 2-1 or 9-5. I'd want at least 3-1 on him.
It's a little low for sure. Paul, you would probably have a better idea. This has got to be Junior's kind of main mount today. Would that be correct?
Yeah, he only had 4, Noah, and yes, I would think this is why he made the trip, would be for this race. And I mean, this is I didn't expect this horse to be bet like this either, Charlie. I had him as like a C. I do think the scratches don't help him as far as race flows, but obviously the scratch of Mercante. But he's taking serious money, so you best pay attention.
Paul, remind us of who your top pick was on the show Thursday night.
I like Brilliant Birdie a lot here, although my top picks are, finishing in Indiana somewhere, and the races are in Louisville. But I just think, I especially now with that scratch, I think this horse could have a real big pace advantage. I would expect Brian Hernandez to just go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's definitely going to be close. What are your thoughts, Chris? I mean, it sounds like you got the hot hand over there in the top right corner. Maybe you can help us all out. You can only be so hot when you're muted.
Coming off mute here, me, Hermano Ramon. I mean, that's shipping this horse out there. Creative Cars horse. Freysiu rides the turf absolutely awesome. This horse has had some trouble and is, stepping down off a grade 1 here. I really think that Freysiu can get a trip here. I would look to pair that one up somewhat with the Fort Washington, which is a country club in Central California that I played a lot. So it's kind of a name thing for me there. I think that horse can close. But for me, I do like me, Hermano Ramon, to win. It's somewhere around, around 25%. I think that horse is where it's there. I do think the horse is well above 60% in the money. And just pairing that up correctly with the rest of them. Brilliant Birdie is obviously right there as well. So pairing that up with the 7 and the 8 are probably angles that I would go with. But I'm not betting this race straight up because I went with Noah with the 4 and Bankman and Durante, which was good for me in the last race. So I'm invested in the pick 4 numerous different ways, but those are my thoughts. 3, 7, and 8, but that's where I'm at. If I had to place a win bet here at a decent amount, I would go with the 3.
I like it. Chris, Matt, shall we give a little tournament update? Maybe you can go ahead and refresh that on your end, Chris, and then I can throw that out. Maybe we can talk about that for a couple minutes.
There you go. It's refreshed.
I do also know, while you pull it up, just have to touch on, because somebody in the chat was talking about Liganos being crazy value at 6-1, and I know that's the one horse I haven't touched on that I love talking about. And I want to ask you or someone besides me, because I know I'm going to be naturally a little biased, but wouldn't you figure with some of the scratches in here, especially with him right now at 6-1, that really is tremendous value, because you're getting Pratt, and with the pace scenario, it's probably even more favorable to a horse like Liganos that normally likes to sit just off?
Yeah, I feel like if he's going to have any chance, I think Pratt's got to be pretty intact with the field. I mean, it's not like he's a dead close or anything. He kind of was earlier on in his career, but it feels like as he's getting older and maybe maturing a little bit more, I mean, back when he just lost a Brilliant Birdie, I mean, he was only a length off of the field and they went 24 flat. I don't think they are really going to go much faster, even if they do in this race. So I think Pratt's, he's very, very handy jockey. He knows what he's doing. So I think he's going to get him a little bit more involved. And, the jockeys always, I mean, they look at races beforehand. They do their homework. They watch races, and he knows with the scratch and Mercante that there's not going to be the pace that there was last time in the Arlington, where he just wasn't quite able to get there. And I think he only lost by a length or so, but he's going to have to make some adjustments. As we take a look at the Twin Spires SFBC leaderboard, Matt, you are now in 4th, my friend. What are you thinking going forward?
Beautiful. This is exactly what I expected to happen. I've been playing along with my show bets. I actually have been making a little bit of money, strangely. So that's kind of nice, instead of, just treading water. But I've got another Dutch set of show bets for this race. I took 5 different horses with different amounts. And again, I'm just trying to stay about flat. And again, I got to keep going back to the leaderboard and the prize pool. There's 10 seats. And so that's the goal, is to get at least 10. At least for me, and I don't mind saying it this way, it's a little strange. I want the NHC seat. They don't offer a ton of opportunities for live bankroll players to win those. And so this is one of it really, it's not a lot of at-bats. And so these at-bats for me are critical. So to finish mid-pack in the leaderboard would be great. You know, as I'm looking down, I'm not, 10th is at $3,800. And there's still a lot of people with a lot of money. So I am not safe by any stretch of the imagination, but my hope remains, you know, just please don't make me go back in betting risky. You know, I'd love to just finish off my show bets, and if I slide another few spots, that's fine. If I have, you know, if I'm fearful of 11th or worse, I'm going to come out firing pretty hard. We'll see.
So Matt, is it fair to say you're going for 10th and just get that NHG seat to get to Vegas?
Yeah. I want to go back to Momofuku. I want to go back to Carbone. I want to hang with all my buddies. It's a really, really fun time. You can't buy your way in there. You know, and without trying to sound like an overprivileged asshole, I've had a successful run in these last 6 months. I'm pretty much qualified for everything else. And so the stuff that money can buy, I'm kind of good. This one money can't buy. And so that's what I'm hoping for. What would have been strange is if I had flukishly won this thing, it would have been quite an interesting conversation with Darren to say, I choose the NHC seat over the Breeders' Cup seat. I actually would have done that. And you can all laugh at me and say that's a terrible, you know, you're getting a terrible deal and all that, but each to our own in terms of how we value these things. So,
well, I think it's the coin flip of whether you're, you know, above average or an asshole. So, I mean.
Okay, I'll take that. Thank you. And by the way, the New York contest, don't cry for me there. It was clear I needed to act. Someone got up to $2,000. I was in the 800s. I bet the entire 800 on a horse. I put a couple hundred on 2 other threats. One of those won. I made, I don't know, 1,000, 1,500 out of that tournament, and I'm long gone. So that's one of my Matt Miller disappearing acts where you go from second to last and people say, what the hell happened? It was fine. I'm good. And frankly, I'm glad to be able to concentrate more on the one thing. So, but yeah, in terms of this race, no real opinion. Unless someone is absolutely in love with one of these horses, this just strikes me as really hard. And
yeah,
so,
we're getting some love in the chat, and there's a couple comments. Maybe we'll talk about the 6 Taking Candy. Looks like Gatekeeper likes him a little bit. Trish likes him a lot. She says, I love Taking Candy. And then Bostard in the chat, 6-1. And that's what you're currently getting right now. He's 6-1. We've got split favoritism as of now between Brilliant Birdie and Fort Washington. So maybe we can talk about him a little bit. I guess I'll start with you, Charlie. Just what did you think of his chances in here off of a little bit of a disappointing Turf Classic last time?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's sucking off the, mini layoff. But look, on numbers, is ultra consistent. I think my concern with Taking Candy is I feel like we've seen his best. He just kind of is a 94, 95 top. And look, that could be enough here to win. I just see other horses, visually with what I watched, or where you just look at the numbers on the improve that are more appealing to me. I know price-wise this is the much better Cherie DeVoe horse to have, but I think if you want a Cherie DeVoe horse in this race, it's very clearly that you should be on the 7, in my opinion. Again, I don't think it's impossible. I think with the pace scenario could work out an interesting trip. Taking Candy's always been a tough one for me to figure out. I've just never really been sold on her. She doesn't really have that signature win in my eyes, or going away victory where she looks dominant. She kind of has these narrow victories that she escapes against weaker than this. She's certainly possible. I just would rather look elsewhere and either take a stance on one of these 2 big favorites, or I think, again, there's another horse at the same odds that I'd much rather have.
Yeah, a question I actually want to ask you, Chris, and this is something I kind of didn't think about. We've seen with the weather, obviously it's warm there, but they've gotten some rain and stuff. Miramano Ramon, a horse I'm very familiar with running on the West Coast, just kind of more accustomed to a little bit more of a drier surface. What do you think? Do you think that's, a negative in terms of what he's got to run on today at Churchill, or are you kind of buying that in with the price?
I'm buying it in. For me, with the win, with the 3, I'm all in on the 3. I'm not going to bust the bankroll on the 3, but I will certainly have several wagers with the 3 and some of the other the other obvious contenders in terms of sailor bet center, but this is one that I do have singled in my late pick 4 that I'm advancing on here. But I just feel like Mark Latt's not going to shift his horse to Churchill with Brazier riding and whatnot. Definitely a turf horse, running at these distances and whatnot. Last out in the Suremaker Mile, grade 1, just barely denied with the win and whatnot. And like I said, I mean, I think 3-1 is a decent price here. Is a win bet. If you're a tournament player, that's certainly good stuff there as well. I think you can pair this horse up with a number of different ones. I see the 6, the 3, the 7, and the 8 there right at the end. Could be a blanket finish. I don't think this race is going to be a runaway, but for me, this horse at 63% in the money is going to be good.
We've got 4 minutes to post. I don't exactly know. Let me try and see maybe where they are. Looks like they're well onto the track. Hopefully loading here shortly. I'll leave the floor open to anyone just in terms of bets they're playing in this race. If they're,
I do feel
if they're playing any doubles into the the Stephen Foster or anything going forward. Anyone got anything going?
I played a cold double, Brilliant Birdie into First Mission.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm not playing any doubles. I just because I have a strong feeling. Obviously, we talked about Noah off camera in the last, so I'm playing some pick 3s here, starting with this race, obviously.
Actually, speaking of the last, it looks like our good friend Terry Frank's got a strong opinion in the last race with Reagan's Wit. Maybe we'll hear more from him as we get towards there. He's got a little pick 3 going, trying to catch some prices in the first 2 legs. I will say I am going to be playing a win bet on Brilliant Birdie. I think 5-2 is definitely fair value. I think being close to the lead on this turf right now is advantageous, and hopefully I can keep things going with Cherie. And Chris,
Right.
just for my reference sake, you've got the audio, correct?
Yep, the audio is up. Once we get talking, you will hear it. So
Okay.
2 minutes to post. Good luck, everybody. Matt, any tournament play here, or are you sitting on your hands? You're on mute.
I can't sit on my hands because I still have to do these minimums, but this is the functional equivalent of that. I think I've Dutched 5 horses with show betting, just hoping to get my $200 back or as much of it as I can. So no real opinion here other than, I would say if you are planning on betting the next race for sure, I would absolutely be playing doubles here. These doubles are quite juicy. These are wide open races and the payouts are terrific.
I've got doubles rolling. All
I
right.
will also say Noah because I know you're assuming I am, and you would be assuming correct. I was planning headed into this race for Fort Washington to be the horse I put my individual bet on, but I landed on Ligano. So I just think with the setup, and both were 6-1 morning line, and I'm getting Pratt, and he's still 6-1 versus 9-5. I just think that's the value on the board right now.
Hopefully, if Fort Washington does get the job done, Howard is able to grab our boy Junior to get a little recap of the race from the winner's circle.
I can finally ask Pratt a question if he wins with Ligano. So what it was like to be the one to finally get him another win.
Seems like a much more appropriate question than what you would have asked Julian.
Hey, I don't know why I was the one who was getting yelled at. I wasn't the one who was saying that I was interested in the 4, but that I had some hesitations to bet on Julian.
Yeah, Howard started talking this some kind of Italian, and I guess that was foreshadowing for what was about to happen.
Looks like the sun is back out at Churchill.
Yeah, it looks super nice.
And the horses have reached the starting gate. It's post time.
Chris, I agree with you. The odds are all over the place.
Waiting for Brilliant Birdie, Fort Washington and Seminole Chief.
Yep, flipped again.
They're in the gate, and they're off. And a good start for Seminole Chief from the far outside. A good start for Lucky Nose down toward the rail. No one else is looking for that lead, so Seminole Chief decides to take it and does so easily. And goes over to the inside the leader. Hermano Ramon emerging from the pack to stop second under a hole there. Longino settles inside third, and Brilliant Birdie's out in fourth. Taking Candy down inside fifth, and Fort Washington is second to last early. And Longshot Henro is the trailer. Seminole Chief the leader, and is cruising out there. No pace whatsoever. Hermano Ramon up alongside second as they hit the backstretch run. Seminole Chief walked that opening quarter mile. 24 and 4/5 second. Seminole Chief loping along down the backstretch. Hermano Ramon second. Brilliant Birdie 2 lengths farther back third. Outside of Longinos, they're together third and fourth. Taking Candy. In behind them, fifth. Fort Washington is sixth with a 50 and 1/2 mile to close into. And Henro is the trailer as they hit the far turn. Hermano Ramon makes a move now.
Oh.
Hermano Ramon quickly and decisively comes out to take the lead. Seminole Chief is under a ride already. Brilliant Birdie is holding it from third, and Fort Washington comes up on the far outside now fourth. They're off the turn. Hermano Ramon confronted by Brilliant Birdie. They want to outside together. In the meantime, Longinos and Taking Candy are coming up the rail. Fort Washington is fifth. Final 16th. Brilliant Birdie short lead as they come to the wire. Taking Candy now goes inside. Brilliant Birdie got it.
There you go, Paul. You deserve that one.
Nice job.
Good job, Paul.
Oh man, no, I thought that might have been my day. I really did it. I mean, I can't complain on the ride. That was a good ride from Pratt. Saved all the ground.
For sure.
That was.
I mean, he ran big. He just has to stop running against Brilliant Birdie.
That was very interesting going into that first turn. I don't know. I guess. What did you think, Paul? I thought Brian would be a little more
concerned.
aggressive.
I was a little concerned because, you know, if you looked at that 9, you throw out the last race. It was a tough grade 1, and obviously first time they had shipped across the country. I said, and then with the fractions, you know, I think Saez absolutely did the right thing. Obviously, yeah. I think a mile, the extra 16th was not ideal. And, you know, Chris's trust, Romano Ramon did the right thing. He didn't let that 9 get loose all the way into the stretch. And, I'm a little delayed here. So I'm watching 5 horses, and it sounded better than it looked on my TV.
Yeah. I wonder if Brian was just really adamant on not doing what they did last time, because they really got into a weird spot last time. And I wonder if they were just, we're not going to make that same mistake again, but it worked out. So.
Yeah, we talked about that on the show Thursday. No, I don't think they really wanted the lead last time. I just think he inherited it, and I agree with you. We mentioned that the other night, that I didn't see that happening again.
Yeah, well, Chris, I thought your horse ran just fine. The 3 Hermano Ramon.
It did. I mean, it did everything I wanted to do, and just didn't get it done. But we got Woodbine coming up here in 4 minutes with a grade 3 at 9 furlongs, and I love this 7.
Do you? I know I got a quick glance at the Power Picks tip sheet that Howard sent out this morning, and I know he's a big fan of the 7 as well. I think it might have even been his play of the day at Woodbine. So hopefully you guys can get things rolling. By the way, is that Victor Espinoza riding on the 5 at Woodbine? Did I see that right?
Victor Espinoza is riding 5.
For Wesley.
Wow.
I remember Funtastic again. Oh my God, I haven't seen that horse forever.
Yeah. 0 for 2 is a distance. The 7 is the every horse here has not won at the distance. The 7, the first one trying it, and a significant, I believe, pace advantage here jock trainer combo at 24%. No changes on this race.
Flying W's here. Oh my god.
Overall,
that's a huge combo.
Overall,
you just betting the 7 to win, or you got some horses underneath maybe?
No, this is just one for me to win. I do have a double coming in here with patches.
All right. Well, it looks like we've got Howard in the winner circle after Brilliant Birdie wins the Wise Dan. Howard, what'd you see down there?
I see a very happy Cherie DeVoe. That's who I see. Who got second, guys? I really need Taking Candy for second. That was really close between him and Lagos.
Oh man, I wish it was really.
There's still the
Great
photo.
question.
It's still up. Who'd you guys think got second? Are we looking at dead heat maybe?
I honestly, when I watched, it looked like they just kept rotating bobs, and then the bob right at the wire looked like was the 110. They were almost in sync. So to me, it was just awful time to be able to figure it out.
Guys, this horse is now 7 for 11. He's getting really good. This was not my top pick, obviously. I thought he could win the race. There's something to say about versatility, right, Paul and Matt? I mean, this horse can go to the lead. The horse can track and finish. I mean, for a turf horse to do that, that's pretty unusual. We see dirt horses can do that on occasion, but turf horses don't change their style too much. This one is in really good form right now.
Yeah, and Paul and I were talking about that right after the race. We were a little surprised that Brian didn't kind of do what he did last time, but it sounds like on the show on Thursday, you guys were maybe mentioning that the plan wasn't to maybe go to the lead and take back, but we were all surprised by those early fractions. What'd you think, Howard?
I was surprised again. Are you saying it was that slow? Is that what you guys were saying?
Yeah, I think it was almost 25 to the first quarter.
I got to tell you this. They didn't get a lot of rain, but they're running on it quite a bit now today. I just think I think it's getting a little bit slower than normal. I'm gonna try to talk to Cherie guys if possible.
Okay.
Junior, I think Paul. I really wanted to get Junior on, but I wanted to get the winner's circle coverage here. So obviously Fort Washington didn't win. I'll try to find Junior if I can, but I'll see him in Saratoga, Paul, and I'll try to do something for the podcast with him at that point.
But
there's Cherie
as you try to find her, oh, there she is there.
Looks like Talking Candy got second. Beautiful.
Yes, you did get up for second. Good call.
They got dead heat for fourth with Fort Washington and Mi Hermano Ramon. Really disappointing. I hate to rip on the West Coast guys, Noah, but these West Coast route horses struggle. We've seen sprinters, AG Bullet, etc., do well. I just don't think the routers in general in California are really that good over the last few years. I hate to point to one race, but I mean, what was his excuse?
Yeah, I mean, his hand was forced a little bit early on, but yeah, it maybe just a bit disappointing. I know he was kind of knocking heads with Johannes kind of at Santa Anita over the winter, and looked like a couple of times he might even upset him at one point, and we haven't seen Johannes back, which he's kind of the last hope at this point. Just to your point,
Yeah.
They've been a little disappointing the last few months.
Hey, let's do this, guys. I'm going to try to get Cherie. Paul or anyone, you guys have a specific question you want me to ask her, assuming I can get her on the screen here.
Yeah, ask her how she feels about moving into Wayne Lucas's barn at Saratoga.
I think you're kidding, right?
No, that's true. That is a true
No,
fact.
but I mean, do you really want me to
I'm not
ask her that
saying you have to
question?
ask her today, but
I mean, Howard, I
I'd
was
rather
saying
not
no.
ask her that right now. It's not
No, I hear you.
inappropriate, just time and place, but that's interesting. I didn't know that.
No, Howard, I was going to say you could ask because Noah was talking about it. Maybe ask if the ride that Brian gave, like if they talked about that in the game plan about sitting off a little bit more because of how the last race went.
Oh, so you're suggesting ask her if they plan to take him back because now?
Yeah,
because
I think a big thing we
okay.
talked about was with the scratches. We thought the horse would be
It's
more
funny.
forward,
I
but
thought
they
one of them was
took
going
that.
to go and one would sit. Between Taking Candy and Brilliant Birdie, and they ended up both sort of sitting, which I was a little surprised. I don't know how
Right.
you guys felt about that. She's being interviewed right now. I don't know if we'll be able to hear her.
And-
we can just go and keep talking.
Yeah, we
can
can
leave
try
this
our
on screen, right? We'll just leave this on screen for right
Yeah.
now.
And
Not be able to
Paul,
hear her. But were you guys surprised that one wasn't really sent and one, sat? The fact that they both sat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that I thought either would be a rabbit, but I definitely didn't think both of them would be as far back as they were, especially with the scratches that came in.
Go back and listen to the call. I think Travis Stone was.
Hey guys, I'm going to try to listen to what she's saying. You can keep talking and I'll relay. Go ahead. I'm just going to listen. Go ahead.
Yeah, you heard on the call. I mean, Travis Stone was basically like, looks like only one horse wants it, so he'll go get it, and I guess this other one will just take second. I mean, no one. He was very casual, even in the way he described.
Yeah, I think he even said the 9 was walked the quarter. I think he said in disbelief. He was like, "Well, the 9 has just walked the quarter in almost 25," and that's what Noah pointed out.
And to your point, Paul, I was a little worried too because Sayas is on that 9, and as we like to famously say, nobody gets by Sayas.
That's true.
And Paul, Sharif did have a very impassionate post on X. Doing Lucas's barn, and that was really cool to see.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
The 5 on the lead at Woodbine here with the 7 right, length and a half, 2 lengths behind.
Yeah, we're right here. This is pretty cool.
Yeah. Got a good look at the dirt.
Nice little PTSD moment.
And a thumb.
We get to see thankfully, FanDuel is showing us on split screen.
Hey guys, can you hear me now?
Synthetic race. Go ahead, Howard. Yeah, go ahead.
You guys can hear me, yes?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. They just announced, I'm gonna try to get Cherie. She's still talking to someone, as you guys can see here. They just announced what I think is a pretty significant scratch in race 12, the last race. Reagan's Wit, the 1, is out, ladies and gentlemen. I'm assuming that because of the track of the turf. In fact, Cherie, one of the things she said is they were concerned about, they were going to maybe scratch Brilliant Birdie because the turf they were concerned was getting it too soft. Obviously, he handled it. But again, the number 1, Reagan's Wit, out of race 12. I'll just keep this on camera here, and you guys can, when I'm ready, I'll jump in and interrupt, trying to talk to Cherie. I'm actually going to walk over right now. She's on the phone. So I don't want to do that right now.
That's a disaster, by the way. That's a disaster. That horse. All my horizontals I played were single to that horse. Every single one of them.
By the way,
and
Chris,
now I'm gonna get scratched into a random favorite in a race that's wide open.
Chris, I was just talking smack about Fantastic again and Victor Espinosa, and he just took all those jockeys to school. He just took them wire to wire.
He did. 100%.
All right, let's maybe get this a little bigger so we can hear from Cherie. I know Kyle would be excited right now. Betty Snow.
We need to invest in a microphone.
Yeah. Program and what they've done here in Kentucky. So, he's not nearly perfect on this turf course at the highest level. So it was great for him to bounce back after, disappointing.
I'll take that as the action item.
And then taking Candy, another horse that just is a really fun horse to train for the Jacksons, to not have an ideal trip and to come with a run. So really, as a trainer, you want them both to win, but if you can't, next best thing is win.
Cherie, what's the plan to take back with both of them a little bit, or just describe how you?
Really, there can't be a plan when there's no speed, so you just got to see who's going to go and how the race unfolds. And I didn't give any instructions to either of the jockeys. Especially when you have horses that run similar styles, can get a little difficult, especially when you have different ownership groups, that you don't want anyone thinking that you're riding one horse against the other or sending one horse set up for the other. So Jose has ridden Taking Candy before, and Irad has ridden him before, and they speak. And obviously Brian knows his horse, so I just tell him good luck, and that's that. I don't really give him too many instructions, especially when it's a race that on paper you're just going to have to see how it unfolds.
The fact you thought Brilliant Birdie might be better on a firmer turf course, Cherie, for him to run like that when the turf is clearly getting a little bit softer is extremely impressive.
Yeah, no. Actually, the horse runs this race every time here, so just glad when they show up. Even better when they come out of it happy and healthy and safe. So that's mainly what we're here for. And so any day that happens is great. But when they win, even better.
Congratulations to the 1-2.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. All right, there you go, guys. Let me go ahead and turn it around. Again, there's music right behind the winner's circle. So you guys, is the sound okay there, everyone at home?
Yeah,
great.
great.
You guys can hear her? Okay.
Yes.
I'm turning your sound up now. Guys, this is a very, very talented horse. To finish 1-2 in this race, which I thought was pretty competitive for a trainer, is very impressive. And I will say about Taking Candy, I was a little disappointed because I wanted him to win, although I did have a nice try because I played him big in second as well. To me, if you guys have been watching here, every horse that's been winning these turf races is off the inside. I mean, we've seen it time and time again on this turf course at Churchill and other places. I think Keelan can be that way too, right? Noah, when it gets a little soft, you want to be off the rail. So I'm going to give Taking Candy a little bit of extra credit for closing up the inside. I'm not suggesting he would have beaten Brilliant Birdie if he got to the outside, but they're showing the actually, you guys can't see it. They just showed the photo for second. It's like, no, it's literally, a whisker. So very close. But, I thought Taking Candy ran well also. Brilliant Birdie, nice effort. Guys, the big one's coming up in about 25 minutes. I'll let you guys get back to it. And I will be in the paddock for as much coverage as possible. Hope you guys are enjoying the coverage here on the HHH Racing Podcast.
Appreciate it, Howard. We'll check in with you in a little bit.
Okay, sounds good, guys.
Cool. All right, Howard Kravets, ladies and gentlemen. That's a pretty cool stuff right there.
Absolutely.
And a very big scratch.
That is a big scratch. Howard makes a good point. Maybe the inside turf is not the place to be, and now the heavy favorite in there is likely to be Tistastic, who we haven't seen on the turf in quite a while.
What a better way to scratch into. Yeah, what a great horse to scratch into.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Just the way I want all my horses.
Charlie, I'll take my pennies in the Turf Pick 3 consolation payout as opposed to scratching into Tistastic.
I should have known to just always trust Matt Miller. He saw into the future and said, you should be playing doubles here. And I said, no, I'm going to be an idiot. I'm just going to skip there and go to pick threes because I have my best bet of the day in the last. And I could have the two horses I heavily played were Brilliant Birdie and Liganos. Those were the horses I used on my pressed up pick 3 and pick 4. I would have had both of them. I could have easily played them into either the 2 or 4 who are my main 2 in this race. And instead, now my whole day relies on most likely Tistastic saving me. With Joel Rosario, by the way, who I know Kyle, if he's watching, couldn't be happier. He's on cloud 9 that it's going to come down to Joel Rosario to save his day from Cherie DeVoe to Joel on a horse that's going back on turf.
Chris, can you do Paul and I a favor and hit that air horn behind you? I think we forgot that.
100%. Right? Let me make sure the
wait for it.
The speaker's on. Wait.
There we go. Well done.
Nice. See if I still have the Destroyer up on my phone.
Looking at the leaderboard, Matt,
I'll go ahead and pull that up.
Friend Ryan is gone to first place with 11,000. You are in third.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that anyone would move down at all from here, just because position is key. So, no offense to that person, but I'm just really happy to be middle of that prize pool. So I'm seeing nothing right now that's going to make me change strategy or what I'm doing. This is not going to be some BC shove at the end or anything crazy like that. I'd be thrilled for these next couple races to come and go with no big fireworks, and if I can just stay where I'm at, that would be terrific.
Yeah, and Matt, I think we would all kind of agree in some regard. Kind of the back half of this Churchill card today, at least, looked a little bit on the chalky side, just in terms of the leaderboard. Is that maybe a little higher or lower than what you expected maybe going into today?
No, I actually expected somewhat low totals, and
okay.
I don't know if it's a function of different kinds of players on different ADWs, but I can tell you, Twin Spires, you tend not to see a bunch of lunatics shoving at the end. It just doesn't. It just seems to be a little bit more cordial, a little bit more finesse than that, and so this just doesn't strike me as the kind of group where I'm worried about a bunch of people with $3,800 betting all of it on Sierra Leone or things like that. Maybe a few people will do that, but this tends to be more of a finesse game at Twin Spires. So from my perspective, look, I'm thrilled that scratch happened in the last. Sorry, Charlie. That's where the expression came from. I am sorry, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind seeing a couple more scratches and just getting prices down so that no one makes up too much crap.
Yeah, Howard, looks like you're in the paddock. You got something for us?
Yeah, what's up, guys? Live here, Churchill Downs. It is Stephen Foster time, the $1 million Stephen Foster. They are already saddled. They're going to be coming by us. I picked a spot here, guys, that's a little bit away from everyone, and we'll get a very good close-up of them. I see Sierra Leone there in the distance, the number 4. The odds, guys, are a bit surprising to me. Mind frame, the number 2, 7-5 right now. I thought he'd take a lot of money. I didn't think he'd be the favorite. What do the doubles look like, guys? Is it Mind frame or Sierra Leone in the doubles? And the exotics, pick 3s, etc.
Mind frame in the double, and they're the same in the pick 3.
Okay. Very interesting. So, again, I thought they're going to parade around here in just a second, guys. To me, and we talked about this, Paul, quite a bit, and I know you guys have already been handicapping, the value of this race is first mission. I realize he's not done fantastic in grade 1s. I don't have any concern about the rail with this track right now. I just think 4-1 is the real value here. Mystic Dan, I have to say, I think he should be. There's Mind frame. Is 5-1 higher than you guys thought? Because a lot of people thought, he's the Derby winner, blah, 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 that he'd be lower. I think those are the odds he should be at. But I am a little surprised the public is so much, I guess, quote unquote, against him. As we see first mission here. Go ahead, you guys can talk, and I'll just show the horses.
I'll speak up and just say I'm not shocked at 5-1 on Mystic Dan. Not as a knock on Mystic Dan, but I mean, Mind frame and Sierra Leone look like killers here, and so I'm not shocked by these odds at all. I mean, first mission seems about right, but yeah, I mean, you got 2 horses that I think people are expecting something just magical. One of them's going to do something crazy here. I think people are expecting. So we'll see. I have a hard time picturing it being Mystic Dan, but this is the kind of horse that wins a fair chunk of his races and seems to surprise us every time.
Yeah, I'm boo on that, Matt. I'm up for the day. I'm going to make a 15% profit wager on Hit Show. Hit Show, he'll jump up at 11-1. I'll take that, right? And you bet that correctly, either win place or exacta combos or whatever I'm going to do. And I haven't figured that out yet. Just give me Hit Show. Going to be running late.
Paul, I want to throw it to you because now with the scratch of Skippy, I mean, going into the race, it looked like Skippy was going to be the speed, and outside of him, there's not a ton. As a fan of First Mission, and obviously if Godolphin, as you can't tell by your hat and everything you represent, what would you like Louis to do from the inside?
We talked on the show. I just think he gets a good trip. Maybe he's a little more forward now without Skippy, but I just think from in there in this field, he gets a good trip. I'm interested to see what Mind frame does. You kind of get the feeling that Irad might be pretty aggressive in this situation. But yeah, I'm just looking for Louis to second-ish, third on the rail and save ground, get a good trip. And I really like his chances here. I like Sierra Leone less after the scratch of Skippy, and I didn't like him too much to start.
Charlie, what are your thoughts before and after the scratch of Skippy?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think the horse that's going to have to try to get to the lead is obviously, the 50-1 horse, Ashcroft on the outside. I mean, that horse has no chance in this race, but the only method I think Leparoux can take is just send like a Banshee. And I think the last two works being bullets suggests that. Yeah, I mean, I had told you I was already against Skippy to start with, so I'm a little bummed out that he's not in the race. A, because I would like a little more pace for a horse like Sierra Leone, who I do have in my horizontals. And B, just because Skippy could have been a little bit of a takeout reducer. I've never really been sold on him, and I feel like I've had a pretty decent idea with him of when to hop on and play him and when to avoid using him. And I think he would have been way too overmatched in this spot, even with, Jose's heroics today. I do think it works out really nicely for First Mission. And, for a horse who I had in third originally, I think 2-4-1. I think this is working out really well for First Mission. We talked about this. I know obviously it didn't work with the 9 in the last, who was the longest shot on the board that lost. But Louis is a guy that's really difficult to pass in the stretch, as we always talk about. And I just feel like if First Mission is sitting right off of this 7 that's, basically just going to be there and then fade on the back stretch, I think the 1 could be really dangerous here with now with the scratch, obviously.
It just kind of seems like, the mission is for Louis to go until the 7, takes control, and then he can just kind of sit second from there. Matt, let's go into the mind of you. What are you thinking with these last two, especially with the scratch at the last?
Yeah, and I'm looking at the last in particular, and for a second it looks like there's 10 horses, and then you look more closely, it's a decimated field. And so as I look at the doubles, the 3 and the 8 are getting all the money. So let's just take a quick second and do a little quick math. If the horse you liked here was Mindframe, you're looking at doubles with the 3 and the 8 that pay $8 a piece. That essentially implies 3-1. That's not bad. I mean, you're improving 7-5 to 3-1 with the 2 most likely winners of the last. So I would say, once again, despite people not liking chalk or near chalk, there are ways to boost that quite a bit. And I don't think anyone's going to complain about getting 8-1 on a double or something like that, if that's what they end up hitting, especially if those horses in the last, again, it's a small field and you're getting the 2 favorites. And so if you don't like mine, pick a different horse, but it's the same basic principle. I do think, as I look at the doubles, there seem to be very good value there. There's a couple that, the Sierra Leone into the 3 double seems to be overplayed a little bit, but for the most part, these are pretty decent payouts. I will point out, First Mission seems to be getting a little bit disproportionate action in the double pool compared to the win pool. Those payouts seem a little low to me. So as I just look at the grid, if my horse was Mindframe or Sierra Leone, I would be gravitating towards doubles. If my horse was First Mission, I'd probably be gravitating towards a win bet.
And I'm kind of surprised those doubles, beginning with Mindframe, are so close between the 3 and the 8 in the next race. I wonder if that has something to do with the late nature of the scratch that we just heard about. What was that, 10, 15 minutes ago? It seems like the 3 is not, well, I guess the first mission into the 3 is actually lower right now. First mission into the 8 in the last race is actually lower than the 3 right now. But I don't know. It's an interesting thing to look at.
It is. And I'm a big believer in the psychology of this stuff. And as you just flip through race 12 quickly, there's only 2 horses at low odds. And so I think a lot of people just lazily, very quickly say, okay, I'll take those 2. And so that's why I think you tend to see a lot of parity between what the 2 payouts are. Someone doesn't want to just, toughen up and pick one when it seems so easy to just lock the whole thing up with both.
I will say, I think a big reason this 8, though, may be taking money. I do agree with Matt to an extent. I think another big reason why maybe they're being a little lazy is because I wish I could say it was creative, but I think a lot of people sort of zeroed in on Reagan's wit. And I think because of that, they're sort of like, panicking and being like, let's just go with what's short. But I think another reason this 8 is taking significant money, Noah, is if you look now with these scratches, I mean, there's no speed in this race. Like, this 8 looks very, very loose. I mean, I'm obviously hoping because, I think the 3 is going to be the favorite by scratch into. So I'm hoping because if you look, at Tistastic's 2 turf starts, he obviously sat off, but he wasn't like a dead closer by any means. But if you just look through this race, I mean, Tistastic on dirt definitely was more of a closer. Siesta Key's a dead closer. Minaret Station's a dead closer. Native Runners. The only horse that has shown any speed is Freedom's Not Free. So you're getting the outside, and Howard talked about the inside concerns. You have lone speed in this race. I think those are for the people that do actually look more in depth into it. I agree with Matt again. I think a lot of it is also the odds on the morning line, but I think that would be the angle for why people are betting this horse outside of just the morning line.
Totally agree. I'm looking at Equine Edge right now. It's got a nice, the 8 has a solid pace advantage. It's got a solid win percentage, a little bit behind the 3. But between the 2 and the 3 has a huge advantage in terms of strength of race. And so those two, if you're an Equine Edge user, they add up to 68% win between the two of them. So, boy, that is the definition of a lockup spot, in my opinion. And it's not because you're just adding a little bit to the 3. I really do genuinely think, you're getting a sure place leader with the 8.
Chris, it looks like we've got a 1 minute to post. Looks like they're kind of approaching the gate now. I know you mentioned you like Hit Show a little bit. I seem like you got to definitely like that price at 10-1 right now.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Hit Show here. I'm up for the day. I can make a marginal play with this. I don't need to. I'm not in a contest. I don't need to monkey around with the 2 and the 4. I'll stick with Hit Show down to 9-1, back up to 10-1. But I'll pair that up with the other 2, the 1, the 2, and the 4 with the win bet, and kind of go from there. I'm not going to play a double here, but they go too fast, man. Hit Show could be right there at the end. That trip off Dubai, could be a problem. We'll see how he kind of comes out, but I like Hit Show.
I like it. Still getting 9-1 right now. Looks like first going into the gate as of now. So
we're loading the gate.
Yeah, they're tightening up a little. First Mission came down to 3-1. Mind Frame's up to 8-5. 9-5 on Sierra Leone. The others are staying stable.
On Mystic Dan, Hit Show, and Dash Crown.
Just for the record, I'm totally against Mystic Dan. Off the board.
And I feel like we've talked enough about Sierra Leone over the last year and a half to not mention him in the last 2 minutes.
Sierra Leone was off the back of the back. Mystic Dan.
I do like the 6 is the only grade in the race.
Is on a mission today.
Leparoux taking off on the 7 is certainly a choice.
Kid, I'd like to know what we're doing on the 7.
I mean, to be fair, he's probably going to outclose Hit Show, who won overseas, and outclose Sierra Leone, who
he's definitely outclose the Breeders' Cup Classic winner.
So I think this is a good move.
Hit Show settles into 5th, and last year's champion Sierra Leone.
Interesting. First Mission drops to 5-2 as it gets this terrific position.
Off the leading First Mission as they head to
I mean, if you told me this is where First Mission and Mind Frame would be, I would be basically just find anybody else in this race panicking already.
Right on his hindquarters. They're
compact field.
To go, and right there at the 5-8 pole, First Mission tapped the gas.
I don't know what the ride move is on the 7 at all. I know this horse wasn't going to win, but I'm just perplexed.
2 with 4 furlongs to go. Line Frame racing second. Sierra Leone launching around the outside. Big move down the back stretch for the last year's champion Sierra Leone with 3 furlongs to go. Mystic Dan tucked in toward the inside fourth. He's within.
Mystic Dan again. Unbelievable.
First Mission.
Let him do it again.
Oh my God, he's getting a perfect trim.
Again.
He's going to get the rail again. Why are we giving him the rail?
Again.
He's down inside third. Sierra Leone is fourth. 1 furlong to go. Mind Frame has taken charge. Mind Frame gets clear by 2. Mystic Dan is rallying boldly down inside. 2 lengths to make up. 16th to go. Sierra Leone hanging tough as well. But it's Mind Frame's Buster. Mind Frame does it a length in the end.
You know what's funny to me? I feel like that race that we just watched, by the way, is what would have happened to Mystic Dan in the Derby if Sierra Leone and Forever Young were bumping the whole time.
Yes.
Gets the perfect ground-saving trip, gets everything his way to jump, and then just naturally better animals just say, yeah, goodbye. That was literally It looked
Totally agree.
just like it in the stretch.
Totally agree. Those two.
By the way,
horses
Brian Hernandez is
are
unbelievable at getting the most out of that horse, by the way. Missed It Down was, in my opinion, probably 5 or 6 lengths worse than the rest of those like big 3 that finished in the top. But he got all of the ground saved, perfect railroad. I mean, he couldn't have done any better. The horse is just not as good as this. And that's our Derby winner we talk about from that class. That's fun.
2, 4, and a photo for third. Was it?
And you're telling me it's not the 7? I'm watching it the slow-mo right now. I'm trying to see. I'm gonna call it live.
It's the 1.
Yeah, it was definitely
2, 4, 1. I don't know how this is. I don't know how
Really missed it and got that trip and still couldn't get third.
That's insane. I honestly didn't think any of the horses, by the way, or jockeys, by the way, gave bad rides on the main 3 favorites, in my opinion. I thought they all executed it perfectly. I just think we saw the real. I'll be honest, maybe I'm biased. I think there's a world where Sierra Leone is as good of an animal as Mindframe, but I think at this distance, Mindframe is very clearly the better animal as well. I think Sierra Leone needs every bit of that, classic type distance.
I gotta say, I think Mindframe's legit.
Yeah.
Oh, agree.
Yeah.
I think he's really starting to figure things out.
And I
He's
don't
very
care.
lightly
Look,
raced.
Sierra Leone ain't beating that horse anytime soon. I don't care if they go 4 miles.
They do.
Yeah, do we feel like there were any surprises in this race besides the obvious one being that the 7 tried to outclose Sierra Leone?
No, I mean, maybe Chris, you'd be a little disappointed by that run. I mean, I wasn't watching Hit Show all too closely, but he just kind of seemed like he never really got into rhythm.
No, he did. He was too far back and did not get in rhythm. He's probably a better pace setup there. But we do have Woodbine, the last at Woodbine, grade 2, off at 8 furlongs on the turf. If you want to pivot over there.
Yeah, we can. I know it looks like
there's a horse.
We got our local correspondent Howard in the paddock. I know he doesn't have his mic on, but there's Sierra Leone right there, and then the winner Mindframe to his left. I think Howard's maybe shedding a tear at this point.
Sorry, hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry, guys, my bad. There's Sierra Leone, Mindframe, getting a pat on the main from IRAD. I thought that was a textbook ride, guys. And seeing this horse in person, Mindframe, he has a long, beautiful stride. He covers so much ground, guys. You can really appreciate it when you're, ground level. This is a really good effort. I thought, look, Sierra Leone, he had to make that middle move. He just flattened out. The scenario did not work. They won, 47 and was it 4, 111 and 2 on a track that's playing fast. I thought Sierra Leone ran well. If people are going to crap on him, that's fine. He lost to a really good horse, and he didn't get the pace set up. But all credit to Mindframe. I thought he rode a great race. I'm working at about 2%, guys, so I don't know how long I'll be able to go. I'm just going to stay on here for a little bit. We'll try to get IRAD. I don't actually see Todd Pletcher here. I know it might be hard to believe, but he could be in New York. I don't see him. But we'll try to get IRAD. There's Mindframe. Again, guys, I think first mission, I think Size did the right thing. I didn't hear your guys' analysis of the race, pre-race. Once he broke well, I think he had to go. But I don't think, Paul, that's what first mission wants to do. Yeah. Despite that, I thought he ran well. He just got outclassed today. Just have to admit it. But I still think he's better tracking, don't you think, Paul?
Yeah, I think that's a tough race to win. Into the wire. I got no complaints.
It's a who's who in the winner's circle here. We see a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Howard hit 0%.
We see him all right. I guess I'll go ahead and take him off the screen. Yeah, Mindframe. I hope everyone in the chat cast on him. I know certainly the money was there. What did we say? Did we say he was the favorite in the double? And 2 and the 4 were right with each other in the pick 3. So obviously,
with a few minutes to post. Yeah.
Chris, have they run that race at Woodbine yet?
No, there are 3 minutes to go, and I like the number 5, Ready to Jam, to hit the board here.
That's a huge price if I'm reading that correctly. 30-1 on Ready to Jam. Cassie a little disappointing in the last race. But,
Yep. Ready to Jam is my long shot play. Winner last out at Woodbine at 6 furlong, stepping up to 8 here on a good turf course. We'll see if we can get here in the money. But definitely.
No, what do you think, by the way, of the American horse that's coming over, Resolute Racing, Sweet Rebecca, obviously a horse that ran well at Woodbine. Ran well at Keeneland.
Yeah,
and Dylan Davis comes over for this one.
For sure. Second, that would be my second pick here. Chad Brown, lightly raced. Last race was a rating win. Sit right off there. Certainly one to consider in the top spot at 9-5.
Yeah, she's really talented. I know they kind of took their time with her because she had a lot of issues over the summer and a lot of bleeding issues and respiratory stuff that they definitely took their time and wanted to make sure that when she came back, she was ready. So kind of proved that in the Keeneland win, because I didn't really love her that day. I thought maybe she needed one, but I think that just kind of proves the talent that she's got, and wouldn't be surprised if she showed a better effort second time off the layout.
Same thing with Kate and her greatness before, right? Kevin Attard here, sitting right off the pace here, one last out. He is 19% second race back. So those are your obvious choices there. You can get some funky winners here from time to time at Churchill. At Woodbine. So, for me, Ready for Swirl is probably the best spread for this distance at 14-1. Only, 3 wins, 1 second, 1 third. Definitely stepping up in class here in a grade 2. But, Emma Jane Wilson's riding. And when you look at that pair, you're looking at somewhere around 15%. But for me, Ready to Jam is the, like I said, I'm sitting on a bankroll today that's good. And I can still be good here. Third off here for Mark Cassie and Savachi. And I'll take a little piece of that and see if I can get something here.
It's a great race.
Euro minutes to post. Is they getting ready to load? Are we sticking through the last at Churchill? Is that what we're doing?
We are. It maybe looks like there he is. He's back. Howard Kravets.
Hello, everyone. Sorry about that. Ran out of juice on the phone, on the iPad, everything. If you don't mind for me talking for 1 minute here.
Go for it.
And I'll leave my portion of the show. A few things, guys. I'll let you guys talk about the Stephen Foster. Great race. So happy to be here and cover it for everyone. Congratulations to the Connections of Mindframe. There were a lot of people around IRAD, and I was running out of juice, so apologize to everyone for not getting post race interviews. But I just want to say this, and I'm going to try to say this without getting emotional, to be very honest. As Matt knows very well, I absolutely love doing this. This has been my dream for a long time, guys, to sort of be a broadcaster. I know it's on a smaller scale on YouTube and whatnot, but I'm so happy that we could bring this coverage to everyone. Had a fantastic time. I think we really gave a lot of in-depth analysis and coverage that you're not going to see on YouTube. Talking to trainers and jockeys immediately after the race, guys, that only happens on network TV for the most part. And so I'm just honored and blessed and happy. And if those of you listening and watching at home, if you enjoy the coverage, the best, and you want us to continue this kind of coverage, it's not cheap to travel everywhere. Please subscribe to our Power Picks. Please support the channel. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. And we love to do this as much as possible. We're going to be at Saratoga. I'm going to be at Saratoga twice this year. The whole podcast will be there in early August. I know you've been in Santa Anita, for some coverage. I was at Canterbury earlier in this podcast and Gulfstream with Chris on another show. It's just it's really I'm very fortunate to be able to do this, and I hope you guys enjoyed the coverage. Apologize for any of the tech issues and glitches, but we're live here. We're rocking and rolling. So thanks to Kyle, who's I know not on the screen. Thanks to you, Noah, Charlie, Chris, and Matt. You've been on. Chris, you've been on almost the whole darn time. Matt, you've been on a long time and in the middle of the tournament as well. So thanks to everyone watching and listening. Really appreciate it. We'll try to do as much live racing coverage as we can on site, but we absolutely will be doing coverage every Saturday or most Saturdays going forward, as I'm sure Noah you talked about. So that's it. That was more than a minute. Thanks, guys. I'm going to go ahead and log off here. Really appreciate it. Howard Kravets signing off live from Churchill Downs, HHH Racing Podcast. Take care, guys.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Howard.
Just to echo Howard's remarks, happy to be here with you guys. All good. This 5 is rallying here at Woodbine as to get past the pole that's in the way. If this 5 wins here, I'm gonna blast the horn for like 2 minutes. If it runs second, I'm gonna blast the horn. It's not. Oh no, it may run second. Nope.
Oh,
good run for the 5, for sure.
Oh yeah, he did. That's a very, very close fifth. The winner was the 8 Ocean Club, who I believe I liked at Pimlico last time and didn't bet her back. So that's a little bit of my fault. But we got bigger fish to fry. Chris, maybe you can touch on what Howard was alluding to. I know we're going to have some great stuff going forward, especially on the weekends, which is in part why we've brought your tremendous self as a part of the group, as you got the sticker back there already. I love that. The paper on the back of the wall. I know we've got the AOK from Woodbine and Monmouth to show their live simulcast on some shows on Saturdays and Sundays, and it's going to be a great time. So I think everyone that's in the chat right now should definitely go check it out and tune in to what we're doing on the weekends, and stay tuned to find out more.
Yeah, so there'll be weekend races. We'll be able to show Woodbine and Monmouth Park going forward starting next week. There are other tracks that Howard is approaching, and we hope to get those as well. I've tickled Howard in doing Friday nights at Del Mar, whether we can show it or not, and we'll try and get it to show it. But it's a great opportunity in terms of the time of day. You got the last 5 races starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
Any of you guys that are involved here on the screen, people that aren't, we can do a show there and we can have a lot of fun. We can have some cocktails. We can have do some betting. We get the Lake Turk Big 3 and kind of target wagers instead of going race to race to race to race. And just, with other tracks and whatnot, like focus on things, right? And so that's an opportunity for us. And then once we get around to late in the year, Oaklawn is going to do a lot of their major stakes on Sundays because they had that issue with the the big 3-year-old race that was supposed to be held on Saturday. They ended up holding on Sunday, and their handle went off the roof. And they were like, hey, maybe we go on Sundays when everybody else has a bunch of junk and we have the goods. So, I think the Weekend Warriors show, as this thing will be eventually called on Saturdays, will be good for Saturdays and Sundays. And, happy to be with you guys. I think we got enough folks where we can go through these things, talk about the handicapping, and more importantly, talking about the betting. The betting is the most important part. You can handicap the shit out of everything, but if you don't bet it right, I remember walking around 15, 20 years ago with the wife going, it was Saturday. I had every winner at Santa Anita an 11 race card, and I made the minimum, right? Because you didn't bet it correctly. You didn't pair those things up when you had opinions. Matt's shaking his head. He knows this stuff, right? So it's really, this game to me is 20% about the handicapping and 80% about the wagering. Because if you wager correctly and you wager your opinions right, you'll make the most money. So that's my spiel of shut up.
And it's funny, you're on a show with a bunch of people that largely think it's mostly handicapping and less betting. And my sense is for the viewer, it comes out a pretty balanced product. I try to keep these guys honest on the betting stuff for sure. Today I'm a little quiet because of the tournament and whatever, and I haven't been playing race to race. But certainly as these shows go, and if I come back and get asked back to do this stuff, we'll hit these individual races and have more reasons for goal horns and individual hits for sure.
Yeah. All right, Matt, you're down to 7.
So you guys tell me. I mean, look, this is real time. This isn't BS. 11th place would be an absolute disaster. Sorry.
Yeah, but three people, Matt. There's no 3 people have to jump you by. Well, one's right behind you, but 9 and 10 are like more than 1,000 behind you. I mean, This race is going to have to go haywire, and it's only 5 horses. I mean, how do you make 1,000 in this race? With unless you can nail like a $200 try or something.
You got a lot of big name, big money players behind me that want in on this. And so I don't know, with 1,500, with 1,400, with 1,800, a lot of these people are threats in my opinion. Right. You just need a 3-to-1 shot. You need to Dutch 2 exactas that each pay 8-to-1. So it's possible, but from my standpoint
here, Brad, I mean, Matt, is Tastastic here just a lock to hit the board?
Don't think so. I don't think so. Not to the point that what you're hearing in my voice is I don't want to slide backwards. I think there's a lot more risk on the leaderboard retreating than there is advantage to be had by gaining. I mean, look at where I'm at. What would it take? So first of all, I have to bet here. And so it'll be a show bet. If my show bet hits, I will pass the guy in 6th. So, okay, at least I'll have taken a shot at passing one person. But if you go up the board a little higher, I wouldn't even know what the heck to try to target to be safe. I mean, unless you're really looking at 10 grand, 11, trying to get way to the top. These guys in first it's just too far away. And so I don't know. From a risk reward standpoint, looking at the value of what I've already got, to me, it feels like stick with the $200 of show bets. As much as I don't believe hope is a strategy, just hope that 3 people don't jump up and grab me. And if they do, okay, I still pulled $5,800 out of the day that started with 0. So we'll see. Unless you guys want to talk me into something, and I'm all ears.
No, that's the problem, Matt. Who do you play? Because I don't think this Tastic's a lock by any stretch of the imagination.
No, the problem
really
is a lot of these horses, I mean, when you look at the distance they've run, the 5 is 1 for 2, the 4 is 1 for 2, the 8 and the 3 have not run this distance before. But when you look at in terms of the breeding and whatnot, I think, the 5 is more of a lock to hit the board. But these are all lightly raced horses here. You don't have, I mean, the 5 is 2 for 3. The 3 is 3. It's hit the board 4, 5, 6 times out of 9. So that is likely the horse that could probably hit the board. But I don't know what you want to do here, man. This is a cluster.
Yeah, so I'm going to put $100 to show on the 3 and the 8. If they both show, I'll make a little money on the race. If one of them does, I will lose a little money on the race. I can't fathom they're both out of the money, so I should be at least protecting 100 here. And then, you all get to experience it with me. It's not BS. It's not drama. how many gosh darn times you hit reload on that leaderboard. It just can't come fast enough once they run this race. It's just excruciating waiting to see what happened. So we'll see.
Well, the only difference would be is hitting the refresh button on ExpressBet, because that takes about 9 minutes.
That's the absolute worst, right? I mean, I don't want to get all negative, but that is the absolute worst in terms of tournament products. Absolute worst.
I figure I'd tickle you with the ExpressBet.
I can't even. I can't let it go. Just
he loves the tickling, Chris.
Yeah.
How much time? 7 minutes. Guys, I am going to hop off. I have something at 6:30. I enjoyed it greatly. Thank you, Matthew. I'll be watching and rooting for you.
All right. Thanks, Paul.
Appreciate the time, Paul.
Paul, give me an advanced copy of that book, buddy.
No chance.
You got it. It's going to wait a few months, but you'll have one.
All right. Appreciate it.
For sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, Paul.
I mean, he's not giving those to like Kelly and Leslie. There's just no way.
Well, I feel like I've read like part of it through you.
For sure. And he's told a lot of these stories, but there's so much more depth to them. And God bless him with a reporter's mindset.
Mm-hmm.
He asked a lot of questions, and just all the questions that you'd wonder, what happened after that. He asked. And so as I went through this, and look, as a lawyer, one of the things that was always hardest as you review some document is not what the document says, it's what it doesn't say and what's missing. And man, I can just tell you, after reading that book, it didn't feel like there was one stone left unturned. He really dove deep. So I'm curious to see what the editor does with this thing. I would have to imagine it's in such good shape that I can't imagine it's going to take a lot of work. And so it may be out sooner rather than later, but I don't.
I remember talking to you.
The hardest part of the book writing process, it was the waiting on other people. And that's not a complaint about those people. It's just, you get so excited that you just finished this thing and it's like, okay, let's go. And it doesn't work like that.
Like Tom Petty said, the waiting is the hardest part, but I remember talking to you the day you finished it, like a few hours after you finished the book the first time, and your feedback on that. And I'm not going to reveal anything you told me about the book because I've got some things with the book, but I was like, man, I got to get a hold of this thing because it's just one of those things where I'm going to do what you did, just sit down and read the whole damn thing. Same thing I did with that book over there. Just read it, highlighted it, re-highlighted it in different colors, and kept those things all together. But 3 minutes to post here at the last of Churchill, the penultimate day of the first quarter of the Twin Spires contest, which you are leading on, and Brad is in second, with your pest in third.
Oh, God. So we'll see.
Get a laugh out of Noah on that.
Yeah.
I didn't pay a ton of attention to what anyone really was doing today, but I don't get the sense that today was going to be a huge points day.
No.
For me, Brad, or Ryan. And so it'll probably come down to tomorrow.
AKA the pest?
I don't call him that. I think he's terrific. I mean, he's honestly, you want to talk about this being a commercial for my book. The guy has been he has sucked up everything I've had to put out there. And it's to the point that we look like we're in concert together. Our plays are almost identical at times now. So I'm not sitting here trying to give myself a compliment, but I'm just really impressed with the guy's ability to pick this stuff up and have the guts to do it. And yeah, he's killing it. So, we knew when I wrote this book that we were going to be creating a few monsters. That's definitely, instead of calling him that, I'd rather call him Frankenstein.
All right. I'll see you in a couple minutes. We're getting close here to post here for the last Crazy Show. Good luck, everybody. And what do we got here? We got a short field here. Tistastic is going to go off as your favorite. Not sure I have much of an opinion here, but good luck.
I really don't either. I mean, outside of the 3 and the 8, would I be surprised if, the 4, 5, or 6 won? No, but boy, it just seems like it's tough to bet anyone in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, the race is going to end with someone winning, and I'm going to have no idea if that's good or bad for me. I mean, if you said to me right now, pick the order of finish, I guess 6-4 or 4-6 would probably mess up the most people, but I don't know. I mean, it's really random when it comes down to the end of these things.
Yeah. Charlie, are you playing anyone in the finale?
Oh, I'm alive in my pick 3 and pick 4. I mean, the pick 3 is.
Oh, that's right. You got scratched into Tistastic, right?
It's not the pick 3 payout isn't great. It's like 20. It's like $20-something for 50 cents. Although I think I played it for $2, so it's fine. The pick 4 I only played for the minimum, but it's paying, I think, even to Tistastic like 160 something, which really isn't that bad.
No.
I'm just devastated because obviously the odds are this low and the payouts are this low because of all the scratches. So it's like already going through my head is like I probably would have been looking at a decent amount over $200 into Reagan's Wit. I could have actually made hedges that I would have felt a little more comfortable about. And again, I also would have been alive to my best bet of the day. Now I have still a decent return. I mean, my ticket was, I think, $9. So, I mean, I went really narrow and I'm alive to 160 some. So the value is great. But A, I'm alive to Tistastic, which I don't feel good about. Not that there's a horse here that I would feel good about. No. And B, I don't like that he's like bouncing around 7-5, 8-5, and you see it 2-1 and 5-2. Like I would have honestly, because look, it's not going to change my payout. I would have felt way better if Tistastic was like 4-5, and then the next shortest horse was like 5-2 or 3-1. I would have liked to see the public have a strong enough feeling about one horse or the other, knowing I'm getting the favorites, and have 3 horses that are relatively close.
Can you guys hear that? I know Chris doesn't have it, but I've got it on my phone. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Maybe I turn it up.
Yeah, I would say turn it up a little bit.
Into the clubhouse turn.
That's perfect.
Freedom's Not Free, running in the 2-path on that first turn, leads the way with no pressure whatsoever. Siesta Key gets a little bit more closer now to the backstretch run, sitting in second. Minaret Station is just coasting along in behind them third. And then it's Native Runner and a break of 3 back to Tistastic, who is the trailer.
You're very back in their walk.
In a pokey 25-3. It is indeed a mere gallop out there.
And this is what happens when you let
Not Free is unopposed on the front end and has just 4 furlongs to go. Siesta Key is given a nudge in second. Minaret Station still covered up and boxed in inside third. 2.5 lengths up. Freedom's Not Free. Then it's Native Runner in fourth. Tistastic. Joel Rosario trying to motivate him from the back of the pack. No pace to close into, though, as they come outside the quarter pole. Freedom's Not Free is in front at the top of the stretch. Siesta Key draws alongside. These two, 1-2 off the turn. Minaret Station comes off cover, and it's coming with a run, and Native Runner is moving with Minaret Station. They still have to catch Freedom's Not Free. Down inside, Siesta Key trying to push on by Minaret Station, finding stride right at mid-stretch, and Minaret Station with a quick turn of foot, late to do it. Minaret Station, the winner again. Native Runner was second. Freedom's Not Free and Siesta Key.
Okay, so now we're hitting the refresh button.
Well, I can tell you on Twin Spires, because they aren't taking feeds from others in their tournament process. Once the race goes official, and once you're watching the video, and once you can see prices on the video, at that point, if you go over, it only takes a couple of refreshes. But you're being like a total spaz to start getting refreshed now. It's not even official, and they don't have any of that. But yeah, I mean, especially after the Breeders' Cup, and I want to be fair about my complaining. I think part of the issue is they take feeds. The host of the tournament is taking feeds from a bunch of different places, taking bets. I think some of those are rather tardy and not timely, and they can't post the board until they've got everything. And so, generally we're waiting on one place to get their info in. And yeah, they'd love to have a faster leaderboard, but they got to wait. well, one of the nice things about this is it's just them. So you get it pretty fast.
I think I've done about 70 shows, and I've never heard the word tardy used.
All right, so I got one of my two horses for show. I had the 3 and the 8. My guess is this 8 will pay. I mean, it's a tiny field, so it's going to, I don't know, $3. So I probably lost a little there. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Charlie, it sounds like you wish Reagan's Wit was in the race.
Yeah, I would have. I actually would have been tempted if that horse was in the race. Instead of making it a 2, first of all, it would have been just the 1. And it probably would have been a win bet, not a show bet, trying to get a little bit of extra. I did feel very good about that 1. I didn't have any good feelings about anyone else. I'm glad I didn't bet the race. I would not have landed on the 5 if I panicked and said, oh my gosh, I have to bet something here. So not panicking was a good move. Right. The question just is, who hit that? I guess looking at that exacta, that 6 is a little goofy. I don't know. Maybe some people missed it because they were playing the 3 favorites in an exacta box. Right at the wire's happy. Good for him. That's cool.
Yeah, no, that was a disaster. I'm just fuming. The thing I'm mad about, I'm all for, obviously, look, the horse comes first, and if Cherie felt that, with the conditions that no matter what, Reagan's Wit couldn't run on that, fine. I just wish we had more notice and could have been at a time where I could have actually changed my horizontals, because Tistastic would have been an easy toss for me. I did not want that horse. I talked to Noah about this last night when we were handicapping these races, and it was a big reason why I did really like Reagan's Wit, is I was hoping Tistastic would take money. I get that people were saying turf breeding, yada, 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 whatever, and I do believe some of it may have been DFS at the time, but this is the horse's first time back on turf. The one workout on turf that Tistastic had wasn't great. Siesta Key obviously ended up running better than I expected, but I didn't think that horse had a chance. Realistically, if I had known the scratch had happened, I would have probably just gone 5-8, to be honest, and it sucks because obviously, with the 5 winning, I would have, hit the pick 4, so that's pretty frustrating to watch. And again, knowing that if Reagan's Wit is still in there, again, I stand by, I think that horse wins by 8+ lengths against it. I mean, that field was awful. And B, know what I would have basically, made $200 plus on a $9 investment is just brutal. And it feels like when I was at Gulfstream, I had the same thing happen to me where I got to the last race and my horse scratched, and I scratched into the favorite. And I remember I was literally, I don't remember what the horse was, but I remember talking to Noah and saying that they were just going to bet this piece of garbage down to favorite. And then the horse, I think, literally didn't finish top 5 as a heavy favorite. And I was just victim to the public's betting.
Yeah. No, definitely frustrating for sure as we begin to mash the refresh button on Twin Spires, waiting for this result to pop up.
Yeah.
Although some weird stuff is happening because it doesn't look final, but some totals are changing. I see my buddy Marshall smash something, but I can't tell if the rest of these numbers are updated. Usually it says after race, that was race 12, right?
Yeah, it has not updated to race 12 yet.
Yeah, I think Marshall was in first.
Was he in first? Okay.
That race, correct.
Good for him. I would have been happier about that. Good for him. Yeah, I didn't know who. And again, I don't really care who's above me. Who's it's a number. It's not a person unless it becomes personal. Yeah. So welcome to the feeling of hitting reload and just I got
I'm doing the same thing on my end, trying to.
I mean, this is must see TV. People just watching people sitting there hitting reload on their.
Yeah.
You can share my screen, Noah. I'm just hitting refresh here.
Yeah, I've got it up. I'm doing the same thing on my end.
It's gonna be such a buzzkill when it's like 18th place or something. It's gonna be like, really? We were sitting here that worried for that?
I mean, Matt, you need to be in the top 10, right?
10. That's all I want. 10. I I got a bad feeling I'm looking at Lucky 13. I don't know why I think that.
Can we get like a drum roll or maybe the Bulls song that they play when they did the lineup?
If I play that, we'll get copyright stuff. Can't do that.
Bummer.
So have they posted the prices on the? I'm going to go back to the video because that's usually where I get frustrated.
Well, they posted it official. They just haven't.
Yes, they haven't. So I'm wasting my time hitting reload. You need
because the prices aren't even in yet.
And then it'll be ready.
We're looking for race 12 here. We see race 11.
Come on, why do you do this to me?
And I have an incredible wired internet connection that's better than all of yours put together.
You get it before it happens?
Somewhat. I'm one hop away from Amazon. So for those IT people that know that. So Marshall is in first. His race 12 is not posted. We're probably still waiting for everything to come through here.
A lot of race 11s I'm seeing.
Yeah. No 12s yet.
Come on, man. Come on, man. I mean, by the way, we have people that are like sticking around listening just for this.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's really kind of everybody. Thank you very much. I have a feeling this is just going to end in a ball of flames, and that's going to be that. But yeah, whoever's sticking around for this, that's very kind. Thank you.
I don't know, Matt, this is kind of a weird instance, Matt, because I feel like if people were making, or if we're waiting to make pushes, I feel like a lot of people were interested in Reagan's wit. So
right
now they've had to navigate to other options, but who knows what they navigated to? I would have no idea.
Was that a popular one? And that horse that came in second, I doubt was popular. But again, it only takes 3 people to completely mess me up. God, please. So I don't think I passed the guy ahead of me because I missed on one of those 2 show bets. So unless he bet.
This is taking forever. We'll see if what the other contests have done. Did they finish this one
This
yet?
is a tote delay. This is not, they're waiting on prices. It's not like a tournament.
No, the prices have come through. It's just aggregating it. So Brad, like this one, okay, they haven't done that one. No 12s. Go back over to yours. I mean, it's been official for, some time here. But we got 88 people still watching to see how this.
Oh my, that's really nice, everybody. Thank you. Try not to all laugh.
We've got way more. I think, believe it or not, our numbers have actually gone up since we've been waiting for this.
Oh, for crying out loud. Everyone's just going to laugh at the same time. This is going to be terrible.
Yeah, well, of the live shows that have gone today, we have been number 1, which is awesome. Thank you, everybody. If you're still sticking around, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all the buttons that you can.
Hit the refresh button.
Yeah, hit the refresh button, all of them. Because we're going to be with you all summer doing Saturday shows, likely some, Friday stuff. We got to twist Howard's arm a little bit, get that stuff done, but, just tell them you want it.
Hey, you know where I stand on that. We're gonna do our best to get things going on Friday nights. That's for sure.
Absolutely, man. I mean, 8:30 to 10:30 Eastern. Are you in Southern California that whole time?
Yeah. I'll be here for the whole summer, so I can just run things on my end. And
you gonna be down at Del Mar?
I'm gonna try. It's been a little busy with my new job within the last couple weeks, but I think they'll let me do some on-site stuff. So looking forward to that.
Get some on-site stuff, kind of work them to get us some video. That would be awesome.
I'd love to do that.
We got that late turf pick 3, the $3 turf pick 3 plus the late pick 5. Good stuff there. Get you on with the FanDuel people like Howard was on, all kinds of good stuff. So still
I think if I remember correctly, an article came out a little while ago on DRF, and they were talking about how they've implemented those bets towards the end of the card, like the $3 pick 3 and the $5 late double, the same exact stuff with the 15% takeout that they did at Santa Anita, which was so successful. Everyone just raved about those bets, and myself included. I thought those were tremendous. There would be several occasions where I'd be alive to doubles and pick 3s that were paying way more than I thought they would. So I can't speak highly enough about those bets that they've implemented.
Good shared bets that we can all do too with the folks in the chat and everything else.
They still don't have prices, and Howard is telling me the same thing from On Track. And Mike's right. It's a tote issue. This has nothing to do with the tournament, or I'm telling you, once you see prices, it'll be very fast. This site is really good about that.
Yeah.
But I have no idea. Now it's saying tote delay.
Kind of makes me feel silly for hitting the refresh button for the last 5 minutes.
Here's the even better part: is I told Beth that I'd be ready to leave for dinner at 5:45. I'm not kidding, and you're going to get to all see this live. She's going to knock on that door in 2 seconds and say, "Let's go," and I'm going to have to try to explain, like, no. Like I've been here all day, like, and she's like, I've been through this so many times. I may have to leave just like that, and you'll have to text me and let me know what the hell happened.
I think Noah, Yumi, and Charlie should form a punk band and call it Tote Delay.
I would love that. Charlie, you in? I mean, his bio says Mr. Everything, so he's got to be, right?
Yeah, well, right now I'm Mr. Nothing. I'm still just I'm still just not over what I just had to watch.
I'm gonna put Charlie on vocals for Tote Delay. I can see him up there screaming. I can do the drums, and we'll figure out you guys in the bass and whatnot. But Tote Delay. All right, we don't have prices confirmed. We have race off on the tote. I mean, how do you have a tote delay?
Matt, with all this time we're killing, maybe we can get some UFC picks for the crowd. We got a big card.
There we go.
Tonight's UFC is obviously terrific.
I'm a nervous wreck, by the way.
I think so. First of all, that last match being 5 rounds, I just don't see this ending in a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like Topuria to win by knockout, and you can hedge that pretty well. I think Oliveira's best chance is a submission. I think I got plus 910 on that, which is just crazy as a hedge. So in the final fight, I like Topuria, which is the fight right before that, because that was
Pantoja Kai Kara Friends.
Yeah, Pantoja is just a monster. I
agree.
He just seems unbeatable. So yeah, there's a couple others that seem okay, but as per usual betting advice, 80% of my money will go through those 2 fights, and if I play around with little other stuff, that's fine. But I might be at the bar depending on whether there might be still a total at this point.
Tell you what, how about the firepower we got in the chat as the races have already concluded? We've got Sylvain here, we've got Tom
crazy.
here.
All these nice friends.
We've got Chris and his wife Amanda are both here. We've got Ryan here. He's giving a thumbs up to the Tote Delay punk rock band idea. We've got Gilly Capper. He says Matt is in trouble. Hopefully that is not the case. Shelly's here. This is more entertaining than the races themselves. And we got Oldie. Oldie's here. Hello, gentlemen.
Nice. Hey,
Hope
Oldie.
you had a great show. Oldie, thanks for joining us. Not too late, as we are still waiting for the price.
We got like 100 people here waiting on what ends up here.
We got 100 people waiting to either be like, "Congrats, Matt, you survived," or "That's so unlucky," and just the bully.
This is so embarrassing. Oh my God, I can't take it.
All right, I'm going to pull the video up here. They're still showing the stretch drive, which I teased that we should have called the show. No offense to Oldie, but we're going to call it that. Yeah, and we're showing replays here. We're 0 minutes to post for race 12. The drama here is thick.
Well, the pad, right? It does show how much someone wants it. I mean, it's real. It's authentic. You know, you could say these goals are silly or not important, whatever. But I'm sitting here. I want this pretty bad, and
I feel like the Churchill people are doing the Simpsons guy. Just let it go another 4 or 5 minutes.
I mean, what are the odds of a tote delay on the last race? Like,
yeah, well, it's depending on that door behind you opening, going, hey.
I'm looking underneath. I want to make sure she's not just standing there. Yeah, okay. So far, so good.
Yeah. She's just going to bust in and go, hey, look, dog, buddy. It's 5:52 Eastern time. Get your ass out of that hoodie, put on a shirt, and let's get the fuck out of here and go to dinner.
Well, I'll show you something funny. I was hoping I could wear the hoodie because I'm ready with my UFC gear for tonight. So
I love it.
Love
it. Nice. Very nice.
Matt, remember when you found a sock in that hoodie in Vegas?
That was insane. Right. It's like finding the dryer sheet in your pants pocket like months after they were washed. Yeah, I found a random sock. Never figured out.
The fact you said a sock is, I mean, there's a whole other story we could do with that, but we won't do it here.
Oh, come on.
I mean, like a dryer sheet is like that, but he had a full on
for hours. Like it was. I had been dressed for a while, so like I did not recognize a sock on you.
It's classic.
Has there ever been a race that was declared official and then they just said, but for betting purposes, we can't figure it out, so forget the whole thing, it's a nullity?
No.
Because that would be great.
It's sometimes taken a day for these things when they have these because of the antiquated technology they have. Like when they do like the lotteries, the Mega Millions, the Powerball, they know within like a short period of time what the deal is.
This is going to be amazing. So you all go to dinner, come back in 3 hours. I'm just going to be sitting here like this. And you're going to know that they haven't announced it yet.
Nope, they have not done anything yet.
Regardless
of Matt, if it makes you feel any better about delays, I shouldn't have done this because I'm a Chelsea fan, but I bet with my heart and I bet them to win their game and they're up 1-0 because of a weather delay in the 86th minute. FanDuel shows them the 90th plus 59th minute because the game has been delayed for almost an hour, and I'm still
we're official on TVG.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, it is official.
Okay, so we're going to Twin Spires. Registration is closed. Marshall Graham wins. Matt Miller, I don't see.
Still.
Yeah. 7th place, buddy.
No. It's still after race 11.
I was gonna say I still see an 11.
No. If you look at my shared screen, I see your bet in race 12.
9th.
Got it.
9th.
Hornet.
Oh, my. Ninth! All right, let's get a battle horn going.
Hold on.
Yeah, never a doubt. I love it. Never.
Let's go.
All right, very sweet. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around. I am
Thank you
thrilled.
so much to everyone.
I am thrilled I didn't go out in tears. Thanks for the rooting. It's really very nice. It's a very nice family to have here. Lucky number 9, born on July 9th, actually. Thanks for all the nice wishes. And yeah, fun day. And more of these to come for sure.
I'll see you in Vegas, definitely, my friend. See you in Vegas.
All right, awesome.
Take off for
See you,
dinner.
everybody.
Chris, it's been a pleasure. Look forward to having you on some more shows. Charlie, thanks for coming on. Of course, Howard, we have to give the biggest thanks for what he did and what he accomplished over at Churchill Downs, as well as Paul and Kyle. This has been Noah and a special live coverage of Stephen Foster Day from Churchill Downs. And Matt, you want to sign it off for me?
Weekend Warriors out.
Boom. See you guys next week.
Boom.
Kravets. If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.